All right, everybody, welcome to the final game of, as I'm just readjusting all my screens here, welcome to the final game of this USFL quadruple header from this weekend. We did all 4 games this week, and we did the Memphis-Pittsburgh game. We did the Birmingham-Michigan game. We did just a few hours ago, we did the Philadelphia game against New Orleans, where Philly pulled off the upset despite not scoring an offensive touchdown and won the game 16-10. And now we are doing the final game of the week, the New Jersey Generals against the Houston Gamblers down in Memphis at that hub. My name is Jerry9. Thank you for tuning in. Still trying to just readjust everything because my other monitor has no battery, so I have to get it by a charger. So let me just do that. All right. So here's what's at stake for today's game, taking place on Fox. Here's what's at stake. The Stars are 3-3. The Generals are 2-3. The Generals win this game. They tie the Stars for first place in the North Division, and that's big because the top 2 teams in each division make it to the playoffs. If the Generals lose this game, they're in a 3-way tie with the Maulers and the Panthers for second place in the division. Generals need this one. They've lost 2 straight games, looking to avoid a third. As for the Gamblers, they are 3-2. The Breakers are 4-2. The Stallions are 4-2. If the Gamblers win this game, they put themselves in a 3-way tie for one of those 2 playoff spots. They lose this game, then they are tied with Memphis at the bottom of the division, and they are 1 back with 4 to play. Should be an interesting game to say the least. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jerry9. And thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday afternoon with me on this USFL stream. We got a lot of sports going on, especially the USFL. So if you have any questions about anything, I'll just fire away in the chat. I'll be happy to answer about anything at all. If you want to have your question moved to the front of the queue, we have the donation leaderboard. Otherwise, I'm just going to go in the order that I see the questions. I do have 2 baseball games on one of my monitors, as well as the PGA Championship. So welcome to the stream, Jacob. Coming in to say hi for a bit, watching PGA and the Twins. Yeah, PGA right now, Koepka -8, Hovland -7, Scheffler -4, Rose and DeChambeau tied for 4th at -3. Obviously, I got the USFL on the big screen, though. Got D-backs and the Cardinals. Cardinals are kind of scaring me right now. 4-2, bases loaded, top of the 5th, 2 outs. Got to get out of this inning. I have this on mute. I'm watching Food Paradise. I like food just as much as the game when I go the same. I mean, food's great. Can't complain about food. Can't complain about food whatsoever. The concession food's hit or miss. Concession food is hit or miss. Did I see the ball from last night's Angels-Twins game? You mean the ball that was right over the middle of the plate? Yeah. Yeah, the show has been interesting this year. The show, I feel like the umps are worse this year than they were last year. The gap between the best and the worst are, it's not good. Yeah, Rangers have been on fire. Rangers have been on fire lately. And what is up, everyone? What's up, Isaac? Thank you again for the donation in the last stream. What is up, Skyline? What is up, Christopher? Welcome to this stream. In New Jersey against Houston. This game taking place in Memphis. Next week is week 7 of the USFL. I don't know what I have on the schedule for games that I'm calling for that one. Let me double check. Let me double check what I have on the schedule for streaming purposes for that one. Because we're not doing every game next week. I don't think we're doing every game next week. We are doing, let's see. All right, it says I'm not doing any games. Yeah, wait, I actually might not be able to do any games next week. Because the Diamondbacks game, it's not a 5:10 game, it's a 4 o'clock game. So I might not be able to do anything next week. So, man, that's a bummer. I don't think we're going to have a stream next week. I don't think we're going to have any streams for week 7. I think we're going to have to take that week off, because I will be away for all those games. So no streams week 7. So this is the last stream for quite some time. We got 3 games week 8, though. We got every game in week 9, and we have at least 2 games in week 10. But there are no streams next week, unfortunately. I cannot do any streams next week. So this is the last stream for a bit. The ump was still pretty solid. 96% accuracy. I mean, that's really good. That's really good. That's bizarre that he missed a call right over the middle of the plate. That is bizarre. Same thing with the ump of the Cardinals-Dodgers game yesterday. I mean, it was a great framing job by Contreras. The ump, I think he missed 2 calls the first 8 innings, and then the top of the 9th, he was just like, you know what? Let's widen the strike zone a bit. Let's favor the Cards. Not that I'm complaining, but definitely weird to say the least. Definitely weird. Randy Johnson's big unit in one sitting. It's we're a commercial break right now. Again, no streams next week, unfortunately. I really wish I could do some streams. I will not be able to next week. You can thank Fox for that one. You can thank Fox moving the Diamondbacks game to a 4 o'clock start instead of 5:10. We still do a Q&A. I could still do that. Yeah, I could still do a Q&A. I could still do a Q&A. I have no problem with doing that. Because I do like these streams. I'm just not going to be able to do one on Saturday, unfortunately, or Sunday. So I will do a Q&A. We're going to do live NFL trivia also on Wednesday. I'll probably do like a Friday night Q&A. I don't know about Friday night Q&A because that's Grossi's time. But his streams usually go to what, 9 o'clock? So we could do like a late night Q&A. We could do something like that. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to think when the Q&A would be, because Wednesday's trivia. Thursday and Friday will be at games, but again, those games take place at night on Pacific time, so I could do that like 7. We could do like a Thursday night Q&A. We'll see. We will see. JJ After Dark. I mean, I did like a stream at like when the NFL International games came out. I did a stream for that, and that was at 4 o'clock in the morning by the time I was up for that, because I was working on videos. I was like, I'm gonna stay up another hour. Might as well. Let's just hop on and see what happens. And it went pretty well. It went pretty well. You guys had some good questions. We had a fun time on the stream. That was like the strangest stream I've done. We're definitely gonna do a Q&A stream when I get the studio in a month. So in a month, we're gonna have a studio. This place is gonna look completely different. I'm gonna move into another apartment, and you're gonna see a ton of memorabilia on the wall. It's gonna be absolutely insane. You guys are gonna love it. Again, this game is about to get underway. Generals 2-3, Gamblers 3-2. Final game of Week 6 of the XFL or the USFL season. I have to stop saying XFL. Just force a habit at this point. And we're doing every single game this week. Not a lot of people in the stands. Not surprised. Again, this game is taking place in Memphis, so I'm not surprised if there's not a lot of people in the stands for a game between Jersey and Houston. Gonna deck your theater room with teal LEDs? I might. I have to see what the layout's gonna be first. But we're gonna have a lot of stuff on the wall. I think some LED lights would help a ton. So yeah, I'm totally out for that. We'll see. Kickoff is fielded at the 3-yard line. A booming kickoff, all things considered, since you're starting at the 20 and only out to the 23-yard line. So a good play by Houston special teams to start off. Generals are going to start this game with the ball. And it's going to be Kyle Laletta in at quarterback, the former Richmond man, the former New York Giants quarterback. Remember, last week, DeAndre Johnson started the game for the Generals. He got hurt. He got hurt during that game. Laletta came in off the bench, went 10 for 12, actually did not play that poorly. The one interception, not really his fault. Johnson has his helmet on. He left with an injury, but they are going to give Laletta the start. Laletta was more effective than Johnson. Johnson can play. He's got his helmet on, but Laletta is getting the start to start things up. Play action for Laletta. His first play fires over the middle. It is caught down at the 39-yard line. So a nice throw by Laletta to start off. It is number 13, Alonzo Moore. More of that. Getting a 16 on the play. Good enough for a General's first down. They had 2 wide on the far side. Play action to the running back. Play action to Darius Victor, the running back. Clean pocket. Nice, easy throw. Tackle made on the play by Isaiah Pryor, the linebacker, number 30. Not before Moore got 16. Because I'm definitely going to get a desktop, too, with the keyboard. Because half the keys on my thing right now are broken. Like, all the keys fell. Wide open! Wide open once again! It is Alonzo Moore, this time by the sideline. 2 plays, and they're already in Houston territory. Kyle Laletta off to a phenomenal start. Again, 11 for 13 last week. 13 for his last 15. But we do have a penalty. This is not going to count. Please do not let this be like the last game I called. Please do not let this be like the last game. 1st and 15. The last game, if you were here for that, you missed a flag fest beyond belief. There were about 25 penalties that game. And yeah, that's actually the right call. That's the right call. Calvin Ashley, the tackle, was 5 yards down the field, and that's a passing play. I don't know how he's I don't know why. What was he doing all the way down the field? The handoff goes to Victor, so they get some of that yardage back down to the 43-yard line. Get a 9 on the play. 2nd and 6. As long as there's not like 25,000 flags like the last game, we're okay. How did Kevin Carter not get Pro Bowl selection? He did. No, he got a Pro Bowl selection. He got a Pro Bowl selection in 99. He might not have played in the Pro Bowl. I'm not sure if he played in the Pro Bowl. But he got a selection. You find True Love on Flag Day. So that's in June, though. Flag Day's in June. A nice tip there. Incomplete pass. The pass breakup there. I don't have an 18 on my depth chart. It might be Isaiah Lewis, because he doesn't have a number on my depth chart. I think we'll get a better angle here. The letter looking deep, and it gets tipped. So 3rd and 6. That's a heck of a play. That's shades of Stephon Gilmore in the AFC Championship. I'm not quite... There's Jeremiah Tyler. Jeremiah Tyler. The linebacker with hops there. 3rd and 6. Play clock at 0. Loletta gets it off. They rush for Loletta. Has to fire. Overthrown and almost intercepted, but it is going to be a 4 and out for the Generals, if you want to call it that. Again, they were in business, but after Calvin Ashley got called for being down the field, which was the right call, the Generals, following back-to-back incompletions by Loletta, have to punt this one away. That one overthrown. The Titans target on the play was Alonzo Moore, the go-to guy this drive. And almost picked off. Punt here by Brock Miller. It is fielded inside the 10. It's fielded at the 6. And taken out to the 14-yard line. So Houston's going to get their first drive at the 14-yard line. Would I agree that Hunter Renfrow is the Brandon Cooks of MLB? That's actually a pretty good comparison. That's actually a very good comparison. I'm not opposed to saying that. I'm not opposed to that comparison whatsoever. Yeah, Flag Day, Finding True Love. That's what, June 14th? We used to have a elementary school because our schools ran until June. They ran until the end of June. We had like a whole Flag Day assembly and celebration and whatnot, and it was... Looking back on it, it's kind of bizarre. Kind of bizarre. But... I don't think I thought about Flag Day once since elementary school. The score is 0-0. Generals have the ball to start off. You're just joining us. Welcome to the stream. Kyle Loletta is starting at quarterback for the Generals. Not DeAndre Johnson, although Johnson can go. He's got his helmet on. But just something to keep an eye out on. I think Talking Jake for that comparison. That's a good comparison. That really is a good comparison. Yeah, Brandon Cooks is a weird player. Good player, but he plays for like a different team every other year. Constantly high value. All right, there we go. Cardinals are now up 5-3. Surprised going to get the second round, but one out, might as well. I love seeing Nolan DeGray as a part Rockies fan, but I'm forever sad he's no longer with us. Yeah, I thank you guys for being cheap. That was the worst trade ever. Because you gave $50 million to... I don't even know what the point of that trade was. I really don't get what the point was. Well, the Steelers win in 79. Mike Renfrow's catch was called inbounds. Honestly, I don't think so. I think if Renfrow's catch was inbounds, and it should have been called inbounds, that was absolutely a blown call. If that was called inbounds, I believe that the Oilers would have won that game. And then who knows what happens. Bum Phillips stays after 1980 probably. Do they trade for Stabler? A lot changes. A lot changes. So Houston going to get this ball to start off at their own 14-yard line. Actually mark it at the 13. Handoff up the middle, ball up behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of one. Mark Thompson going absolutely nowhere there. 2nd and 11. Kenji Bahar, the quarterback for the Gamblers, again missed last week with an injury, but he is back in this one. Ever since the amazing win against the Cubs in 2018 playoffs, everything is down the toilet, pretty much. Handoff, up the middle, Thompson to the 16-yard line. So third down going to be the first throw of the game. 27-13 was the final, but again, the play happened in the fourth quarter, which led to a field goal. Would have been 17-all. Would have been 17-all on that one. Right there in 5 seconds left on the play clock. Got to get this one off. Kenji gets the snap over 1 second. They rush 4. Kenji going deep. Kenji going deep, and that is overthrown. Incomplete pass. Intended target on the play was T.O. Redding. Coverage there was Miko Dotson, rather. 3 and out. So a slow offensive start for both these teams. Much respect, guys. Let's get those lights up. That would be nice. And thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much, Andre, for the support. So 3 and out, and Hunter Niswander is going to have to punt this one away for the Gamblers. General should have some good field position here. So only at the 16-yard line. Should have some good field position. Weird to see a punter wearing number 94, but again, that is Hunter Niswander wearing that. Low snap, but he's able to recover. Gets it off, and it's going to be fielded at the 40-yard line to the 45 and down at the 47-yard line. Return on the play there by Cameron Eccles-Looper. There was a flag on the play, though. Second flag of the game so far. We had about 25 in the last one, so can't be any worse. During the kick, holding on the Generals. So move it back another 10 yards. So should have been good field position for the Generals, but after that penalty, after a solid punt, Jersey going to get this ball around their 30-yard line. Again, this game is on Fox, for those wondering. Last game was on FS1, so again, this game is taking place on Fox. It's already what's on the agenda for the next few days. Let's talk about that. Tomorrow, we got 2 videos coming up. We got a JG9 video coming up, something Cowboys related. We have a JG7 video coming up as well, something Mariners related. We're going to do a Mariners video, something that wasn't covered in the baseball documentary by John Boys. So, something very interesting from the 80s that happened with the Mariners. And the JG9 video is something Cowboys related. Again, I wanted to get videos out today, wanted to double upload today, couldn't do it. I was just too exhausted. Put out 13 videos last week, so I think my body just needed to catch up on some sleep, especially because I only got 2 hours the previous night. Because I had to be up for this stream, but actually went to bed at a semi-reasonable hour, got about 8 hours, so we are good to go, which is good. Forgot to adjust the football there. In General's ball after the punt, only 1 first down so far in this game. It came on the first play by Kyle Oletta. So there's 9:41 left in that first quarter of action. Again, what's at stake for this game? The Generals, 2-3. They win this game. They move to a tie for first place in that North Division alongside Philadelphia. Top 2 teams in each division make the playoffs. They'd be a game up on a playoff spot with 4 to play. They lose this one, they're in a logjam with Michigan and Pittsburgh. Houston, they win this one, 3-way tie for first place. Again, only the top 2 teams make the playoffs. They lose this game, then they fall outside the playoff picture, tied with Memphis. Weather chart with $2. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, man. Hope you enjoy the vaccine next week. Thank you. I hopefully will. I hopefully will. You never know. It's the Red Sox, so judging by my experience with Boston fans at previous games, granted it was Patriots, not Red Sox, but it'll be very interesting. It's going to be a very different dynamic at the stadium versus other games. It's a very relaxed dynamic most of the time. I have a feeling this will not be. I have a feeling it will not be a relaxed dynamic in the stadium. It's going to feel different. Because it's rare that the Red Sox come to town. It's very rare that they come to town, so there's a lot of people from the Northeast out here, so I'm very interested to see what happens. All right, 9:41 left. Loletta's still in the game at quarterback game. He got the start. DeAndre Johnson can play. But Loletta is starting this one. 1st and 10, ball at the 29-yard line following the penalty, following the punt. Loletta fires an out route. It is caught at the 33-yard line. Catch there made for a gain of 4. You're seeing on your screen, Darius Victor last week, a rough game, 3 fumbles for him, had a costly fumble at the goal line pretty much. Generals played better than the Stars last week. They just shot themselves in the foot. They really did. 2nd and 6. Ball to 33. 2 wide, the motion to tight end. Handoff goes up the middle to Victor. Victor gets the first down and then some. Victor is down at the 42-yard line. Eventually brought down the play by number 44, Calvin Tolson. But not before he picks up 9 yards and the Generals' first down. Do the pitching matchups? They have not announced them yet. My guess would be, so today's Merrill Kelly, so that means tomorrow's going to be Tommy Henry. Ryan Nelson goes Tuesday against the Phils, so Wednesday's going to be Gallen. Handoff goes to running back, not Victor, it's Trey Williams. So Victor getting a bit of a breather, but back to the line of scrimmage he goes. So if Wednesday's Gallen, Thursday's going to be, at that point, Tommy Fott, or Brandon Fott rather. Friday's going to be Merrill Kelly. Saturday would be Tommy Henry, and Sunday would be Ryan Nelson. So 4-game series, Gallen's not going to pitch during any of those games. He'll pitch in the Philly game on Wednesday. I don't know the Sox pitchers. I don't know what the Sox pitchers are going to be like, but that's probably the D-backs lineup. 2nd 10 following the run of 0 by Williams. This time, he almost gets balled behind the line, but he escapes out of it and down at the 49-yard line. That line collapsed quickly on him. Letta had to get that handoff quickly. Gain of 7 on the play, though, so nice recovery there. Will you be going to the games against the Braves? Would that mean you're not streaming? So next week, there's no streams. Next week, there are no streams. Unfortunately. There are no streams next week, unfortunately. I wish there were, but there are no streams next week. So no streams week 7. Week 8, we are going to have some streams. Week 8, there will be some streams. But week 7, there will be no streams. How is Drew Jones doing? He's struggling a bit. He's struggling to hit a bit. And it's such a logjam in the outfield, though, so we don't really need him yet. The handoff goes for about 2 yards. Usually if you run on 3rd and 3, it means it's 4-down territory. But that only got a yard, so 4th and 2. We'll see what they do here. 4th and 2 at midfield, you got a decision to make. Usually if you run the ball, it means you're going for it. Yeah, Drew Jones is not playing the best right now. He's still very raw. The good thing is, though, we don't need to rush him up. We're not in a dire need of him. There's only 7 seconds on this play clock. They got to get this off. Jersey's got to call timeout. Jersey has to call timeout. Whatever they do here, they got to call timeout. They do get off with 1 second, and that is why you call timeout. They were all out of sorts, and they come nowhere close to getting the first down. They were all out of sorts there, and Houston's going to have some great field position. Absolutely dumb coaching there by the Generals. I don't have a problem going for it there. I really don't have a problem going for it there. The problem comes when your team doesn't break the huddle until there's 7 seconds left. Everyone's all out of sorts and confused. And it means that the blocking is going to be terrible. It means that no one knows what their blocking assignment is. And with that, Houston gets the ball back. If you're going to go for it there and your team doesn't break the huddle with 7 seconds left, you got to call timeout. You just got to call timeout. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. What kind of laptop do I have? I have a Mac OS Catalina from 2020. I got like 2 weeks before COVID. So, it's a good laptop. It gets the job done. But the keys at this point, I typed so much on this thing, and I typed so fast, that half the keys are loose, so you can hear everything pretty much. But the good thing with Drew Jones, at least, there's no rush in the D-backs with the outfield. Because right now, you have a great outfield with, hitting-wise at least, Pavin Smith, Dominic Fletcher, Lourdes Gurriel, Corbin Carroll, Kyle Lewis is on IL. I'm not crazy about Lewis, but he's there. You also have, how's it going, Farhan? Welcome to the stream. You also have Alec Thomas, Jake McCarthy, great defensively, just going to get the bats back. Not too worried about them just yet. But they're in AAA. They were in the majors last year. They played pretty well in the majors last year. I don't know what happened this year, but great defensively. So you have a bunch of outfielders out there right now on the D-backs. So Drew Jones, he can wait a bit. We're not super reliant on having him get an early call to the majors. And Calzone's hitting pretty well, so he'll be up soon. So Drew Jones, at least it's not a necessity that he plays well. Yet, at least. He's young, and we don't have to worry about him for another few years. Which is good. Again, Houston's going to get this one with 6:21 left at midfield. I don't know what the logic was there whatsoever by not calling a timeout. Because the team was all out of sorts when they broke the huddle. You could tell. If you're still in the huddle and there's 7 seconds left on the play clock, you're either not going to get the playoff, or when you get the playoff, everyone's going to be so rushed and it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. With that, Houston's got the ball, 6:21 left. Went 3-0 on the last drive, but they've got much better field position this time. We'll see if they can do anything with the Kenji Bahar back in a quarterback after missing last week's game. 1st and 10 for the Gamblers. They got 3 wide. Play action. They rush 5 and tipped at the line of scrimmage. Kenji felt the pressure, and that pass gets tipped. Incomplete, 2nd down. Seeing a replay right now. Again, Generals only rushed 5 on that one. Hit on the play. The pressure there, and the hit coming from number 56, Bryson Young. That brings up 2nd and 10. Motion Mark Thompson out wide, so you got empty backfield. Kenji, slant route. Receiver stumbles. No flag on the play. Houston wants one. Not going to get one. Some jawing after the play between Avery Genesee and Bryson Young, number 74, number 56. No flag on the play. 3rd and 10. I thought Houston or Michigan would miss the USFL playoffs, so the Panthers might prove me right. Yeah, Panthers, they're struggling right now. Then again, there's no team that's out of it. This is so much different than last year. Last year, you knew the playoff teams after 6 weeks. It was just a formality at that point. It was so boring. This year, there's so much parity. It's so much fun to watch. This year, we don't know what this playoff picture is going to look like. No team is safe. No team is out of it. Thought Memphis was out, and then they rattle off 3 straight. Kenji 3rd and 10. Fires and is caught. Hurdle! Don't know if you need to do that, but gain of 12 on the play. Gotta love the effort there. Catch there made by the tight end number 42, Clint Sig. Getting Siggy with it for a first down. So he hurdles over the defensive back, number 20, DJ Daniel. Go Generals, even though I don't know anyone on their team. Welcome back to the stream, Barbara. Welcome back to the stream. First time today a team is in opposing territory. First time today so far. So we hit the 4:20 mark in the first quarter. 2 wide. Kenji with the handoff up the middle, gain about 2 yards on the play. Handoff goes to Mark Thompson. I know Braden Bowman because he used to play for the Jaguars. He used to play for the Jaguars, or tight end from South Alabama. He never made the roster, but he was there preseason. We have a $10 from Scorpion Task. Holy cow! Thank you so much, Scorpion. Let me get you in there, and then I'll read your comment. Thank you so much, though. Thank you so much. 2nd and 8. Screen pass is set up for Thompson. Thompson at the 30, and he goes down there. So 32 coming up. There was a flag on the play, so hold your horses. All right. Why do you think the Memphis-Michigan game that was in Week 4 pulled such good ratings, and only one other game has been over a .06? Your USFL TV ratings. That's a good question. The answer for me, the Memphis-Michigan game was on NBC right after the Kentucky Derby. It's a face mask on the gamblers. That's the reason for it. It had a great lead-in program. Like, the lead-in program for Fox today was what? Bowling? It was something bowling related. No one's watching. If you tune into Fox, you're either channel surfing or you're interested in the USFL. You had a lot of people watching the Memphis-Michigan game because that was on NBC right after the Kentucky Derby. And everyone watches the Derby. So that's why. That's exactly why. It was all because of the lead-in. And people that stay tuned on their TVs afterwards, or just didn't bother to turn it off, or maybe they were they had no idea what to watch afterwards, so they stay tuned to NBC and then they just watch the USFL. That's why a lot of the lead-in shows, like after the Super Bowl, that's why the Super Bowl, the lead-out show. Okay, now they're reversing the face masks. No face masks, so 3rd and 2 to 30. And D-backs win 8-3, yeah, I saw that. Take the series, even though we didn't win the Gallon Star. 5-2 in the last 7, I'll take it. Play action. Kenji fires into the flat. It is caught by Sig. Sig at the 20. Sig at the 15-yard line. 15-yard gain by Sig. His second catch of the drive, good enough for a first down. But that's why, because they had the lead-in program of the Derby. So it's like the ratings would be great if the USFL followed the Super Bowl right after. It's almost like that. So you have a lead-in program like that, people are watching. Even if they're not interested. Just because people leave their TVs on. Handoff goes to Thompson up the middle at the 14-yard line. Muscles his way to the 10. And that is going to be where his forward progress is stopped. That's a good question, but that's why the lead-in program, or that's why the ratings were high for that game and not for the others, because the lead-in program was that good with the Derby. Like, Fox is the Belmont this year. Does Fox, are they airing a USFL game afterwards? Because if they are, the ratings for that are going to be very comparable. Though I'm not sure for Belmont because they're not airing a game right after Belmont. Handoff up the middle of Thompson down to the 6-yard line. So 3rd and 2. Because Belmont, now that 2 different horses won, there's not going to be as much interest in Belmont. Which league will exist in 3 years, XFL, USFL? I mean, I think both can, but if I had to choose one, I really hope it is the USFL. I hope it is the XFL. If I had to choose one, I like what they're building. I like the fact they have fan bases. I'm not crazy about some of the stuff the USFL is doing. But I hope both can survive. There's nothing More football is good. 3rd and 2. Handoff goes to Thompson. Up the middle. He's at the 5, and he muscles his way in. Thompson, Mark Thompson, is in the end zone for the first points of the game. Touchdown for the Gamblers. So the Generals gambled on that 4th down. Didn't get it. Short field. Houston only had to go 50 yards, and they took advantage of it, going all 50 yards for the touchdown. I just think the quality of play is better in the XFL right now, so. Especially offensively and at quarterback. Running back is pretty even, though. Running back, offensive line, pretty even. But skill position, I think it's definitely in favor of the XFL. A nice run there by Thompson. He's been muscling his way forward all game. Extra point attempt here by Nick Vogel. Kick is up, and it is right down the middle. Windy day, doesn't matter. 7-0. Gamblers strike first. Yeah, I think this year's Denver's year. Jokic looks amazing for the most part this year. Jamal Murray, I've never seen him play this well. They just play great team basketball. I really like what the Nuggets are doing. Stan Kroenke can jump into Jupiter's atmosphere, but the Nuggets winning would be fun. I mean, they've never made it to the finals, so I'd be happy for them. I'd be very happy for their fans and whatnot. They deserve it. After all these years, they deserve it. Which league do you think the ratings matter more to regarding their success in making it past the 5-season mark? I mean, the NFL is working with the XFL on certain things, and they're not really working with the USFL on certain things. I think the fact that the USFL is basically owned by the TV networks, and the XFL is owned by an individual person, I think it's going to matter more for the USFL because they're owned by the TV networks, and they want to get a return on their investment. Some JG9. Terry Crews is part of the active roster for 3 different teams. What's the odd one out? Ooh. I don't know the answer to that one. I would guess the Oilers. But I don't know. I think it's going to matter more the success of the USFL because the USFL needs TV to fall back on. The XFL, they have fan bases and whatnot. They have ticket sales. They have other sources of revenue. The USFL doesn't. The USFL, it's TV ratings. It's NBC and Fox getting their money's worth with ratings. It is yours. All right, there we go. I'm actually checking out the hockey in the Western Conference is more exciting to me. Yeah, I mean, look, the conference finals this year so far have been amazing. I can't complain about the conference finals whatsoever. I can't complain one bit. I mean, every game's gone to overtime, so what more could he ask for? Second round Eastern Conference was not very good, not very close, not very competitive. Conference finals this year have been phenomenal. That's why I kind of like not having a favorite hockey team, because this is just too frustrating it'd be too frustrating to watch overtime hockey. It'd be way too frustrating and stressful to watch overtime hockey. Mark Thompson, maybe the best running back in the USFL. His 9th touchdown in the last 4 weeks. Muscles his way forward, as you see on the replay. A 50-yard drive taken up with just about 5 minutes of action. The Gamblers have a 7-0 lead. They're going to be kicking off to the Generals. Both drives for the Generals, exactly the same. They get a first down, then after that, they fail to get anything else. That kickoff is fielded near the end zone. Actually goes into the end zone for a touchback. So 1st and 10 for the Generals at the 25-yard line. Definitely tell which way the wind is going, because both of these kickoffs have been near the end zone. And that one actually went in the end zone. Of the major 4, which fans are the most gatekeepy? Probably hockey. Baseball's up there with all the advanced stats and whatnot. I don't think football is gatekeepy. I don't think basketball is gatekeepy either. I'd say baseball and hockey, but probably hockey's the most. And I think they spotted the ball at the wrong spot. Because touchbacks go to 25, they marked it at the 20. So that was the confusion. But now we are good to go. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. They got 3 wide rather. Play action, Laletta going to take it himself, scrambles forward for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7. And Kyle Laletta getting the start for the Generals today. DeAndre Johnson can play. He has his helmet on. He is active. He got hurt last week. Laletta came into the game, played pretty well. He's getting the start this week. Second and 7. Handoff goes to Trey Williams. Trey gets nothing. 3rd and 8. 3rd and 7, rather, at the 28-yard line. Tackle there on the play, at least from the looks of it, by Jeremiah Johnson, the safety, number 2. What NFL team did the original Apollo Creed from Rocky play for? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I'm just going to guess the Eagles. I don't think that's right, but I'm just going to guess the Eagles. I'm just going to go Philly. I don't know the answer to that question. 3rd and 7. Final play, they got to get the snap off, and they do. Laletta. Pocket collapses on him, fires, and it is incomplete. They want PI, intended target Cameron Eccles-Ledger. Not going to get it. Not going to get it. So 1 second left, and that will not be enough as we're going to go to the second quarter. A rough start offensively for the Generals. 3 drives, just 2 first downs, and they'll be punting this ball away on the first play of the second quarter when we get back from commercial break. And again, Laletta got the start. Johnson can play. You have to wonder, how long is Laletta's leash? You have to wonder. He's 2 for 5 so far. How long is his leash? Will he go the distance? Will he get benched at halftime? If things continue like this, we'll see. We shall see. As the Cardinals have now taken a 10-3 lead and look well on their way to winning 3 out of 4 against the Dodgers. As a Cardinals fan and a D-backs fan who hates the Dodgers and is rooting for the D-backs, obviously, to win that division, oh man, this is like heaven. So let me flip that off and put on the hockey game. If they bring back the Invaders, relocating to San Diego, Sacramento, or San Jose would be better than Oakland. I think Oakland would be a phenomenal fit. I think Oakland... The problem right now is that they don't have any West Coast teams. USFL doesn't have any West Coast teams. That's by design, keep the travel costs down. And plus California state tax. But if you're going to put a team in California, I think Oakland makes the most sense because they're not going to have any teams left. A team that's definitively theirs, they're going to rally behind wholeheartedly. That'll be their team. Kyle Laletta is bad. He's a Pat Shurmur guy. Yeah. Well, he played well last week. He did play well last week. I was never crazy about Laletta. Remember the game he had against Washington when he came in off the bench back in 2019, I want to say? He was terrible. He was just terrible. I was never crazy about that draft pick. And coming up tomorrow, we have a JG9 video about the Cowboys, a JG7 video about the Mariners. JG8 video is coming up soon as well. And again, there was a big announcement that I made earlier today. I'm working with Purple Insider, working with Matthew Collar, and we are doing some really fun stuff about the Vikings. Vikings history. We're doing a lot of fun stuff on Vikings history on that channel. So go check that out if you haven't already. Go check out Purple Insider. The video is how Bud Grant's speech saved the Vikings, something along those lines. From 1985, Week 1, Vikings 49ers. Go check that out. I told you guys we're going to have a lot of content coming up, and that is not the last surprise announcement you will hear from me. That is not the last surprise announcement. It's 2018, that game. It was 2018. All right. It was off by a year. Yeah, I think the A's are going to be totally out of the Coliseum by next year. I don't think Fisher's going to stay. I think Fisher is going to... If they really have 2 feet in the door in Vegas, I think why have a lame duck season in Oakland? Go to Vegas now, play a Cashman for a year. Problem then becomes what happens with the Vipers. What happens with the Vegas Vipers at that point? The A's going to Vegas, unfortunately, I feel for Oakland fans. I really do. But it seems like a done deal. It really seems like a done deal. Niner fans since Montana and Rice faithful. That's awesome. Seen some good football then. You've seen some good football. 4th and 7. Brock Miller punted away Justin Hall back to return for the Gamblers on the first play of this second quarter. Has to backpedal again. That is going, that's in the favorable direction of the wind. And taken down at the 22-yard line when forward progress is going to mark him. So first down for the Gamblers at around the 22-yard line. Kenji Bahara coming back and didn't have to do a whole lot on that last drive, thanks to the great running of Mark Thompson. But he came back in for Les Steckel, a.k.a. Minnesota Voldemort. That's a good way of putting him. Was atrocious in 1984. The A's would be able to play in the newer stadium for the AAA. They could. They could play in that stadium. They could play in that stadium for a year. The problem, I guess, is that depending on how quickly they move, the AAA team might not have a new location. So I'm guessing they would play in that AAA stadium. 1st and 10 at the 19 actually is where they're going to mark it. I think forward progress really should have had it on 22. Either way, that pass is incomplete. Teal Redding, the intended target on the play. Bit passes outstretched, so 2nd and 10 at the 19-yard line. This is really random, but I hate when other Vikings fans tend to call Randy Moss the GOAT over Jerry Rice. I mean, Jerry Rice was so much better than everyone else. He was so much better than everyone else. The gap between him and anyone else is drastic. Randy Moss was great, don't get me wrong. First ballot Hall of Famer for a reason, but not even close to Jerry Rice. The only guy I could put in the conversation with Rice is Don Hudson, because you look at his stats back in the 30s and 40s, it was like he was playing a different sport. He had like 1,200 yards one season, the next closest was 500. Play action, 2nd and 10. Kenji has to get rid of it, and he fires in the flat. He's got his man, and I'm not sure if it's enough for the first down. Might have said that beforehand. It's Rodell Rahman with the grab. We'll see where they mark this one. Either way, gain of at least 9 yards. But where are they going to mark it? They're marking just short. 3rd and 1, exactly 9 yards. Do I think Oakland and Chicago have the same issue just with different leagues? Owners that want to stay, but politics preventing them from upgrading their stadiums. I don't think Fisher wants to stay. Chicago, maybe. I don't think Fisher wants to stay. I think he sees the dollar signs in Vegas like everyone else does. 3rd and 1, handoff up the middle goes to Thompson. And he spins his way forward for the first down to the 34-yard line. Gain of 6, and the Gamblers keep this drive alive. I think if Fisher really wanted to stay in Oakland, he'd figure something out. Hudson's the GOAT pre-merger, while Rice is the GOAT post-merger. That's a fair way of putting it, yeah. There's no one that comes close to Hudson pre-merger. There's no one that comes close to Rice post-merger. I think Moss was the most athletic wide receiver. I think that's a fair thing to say. But the best wide receiver, it's Rice. But Moss was the most athletic. Handoff, bottled up, going nowhere. Loss of 2 on the play. Got a few guys in on the action, but it is Tyshawn Render, the main guy in on the stop, alongside Toby Johnson. Loss of 2. Jerry Rice and Randy Moss both have the same nemesis team, the Giants. Yeah, Moss got shut out in that NFC Championship. Rice, at least against the Giants, when I think about Rice and the Giants, I think of the 88 Week 2 game. A touchdown with like 140 left. Montana to Rice, I mean. Young started the game, then Montana came in. Handoff goes up the middle to get a few of those yards back. Going to be a gain of 5. 3rd and 7 coming up. We were so spoiled in 1984, Houston versus New Jersey, Jim Kelly, Herschel Walker. We really were. I mean, USFL in the 80s was, talent-wise, just insane. 2022, Idaho are 89 49ers. I mean, Idaho. Easily. Not even close. I'll take the 89 Niners over any other team in NFL history. I mean, they were the most dominant postseason team of all time. You could make a case for the 89 Niners being the best team. I wouldn't argue too much against it. I really wouldn't. Jumps the snap. Tyshawn Render going into the neutral zone before. We'll see what they rule this as, but it looks like it's going to be a penalty on the Generals, and it is. Move them up 5 yards. 3rd and 2 coming up. 80 Stabler or 2020's Cam Newton? Oh, man. Don't make me choose. They're both terrible options. Both terrible options. Man. Who am I going with? Who am I taking a battle? 80 Stabler or 20's Newton? They both can't throw. They both aren't athletic. They're both shells of their former selves. At least Newton doesn't throw picks, so I guess I would take, as Houston burns their first time out. They have 2 left. I guess I'd take Newton because he makes less mistakes. But man, that is brutal. Best loser by decade in the Super Bowl losers. All right, I don't know 2000s. 2000s, you could go a bunch of different ways with that. I can't think of a single loser in the 2000s that I would say was substantially better than everyone else. Can't think of any. Let's think those. 60s, it's the Colts. Do I want to go Colts or Vikings? Oh man, wait, that's tough. Do I want to go Colts or the Vikings? Man. So we got the 69 Vikings or 68 Colts? Man, I don't know. I'm gonna say, maybe we'll say this. Joe Cap had that great game against Baltimore at the start of the season, but he did slow down by the second half of the year. So I'm gonna say the 68 Colts. Best loser of the 70s, give me the 78 Cowboys. 3rd and 2, play action. Kenji once again fires in the flat, and that is caught. I think it's enough for the first down. He hit Clint Sig. Very similar play to what they ran earlier. I think it should be enough for the first down. Super Bowl 20's on TV. On what, NFL Network? It's got to be NFL Network. Why it's on there, I don't know. Again, the full game is available on YouTube. Now, if they had the game with the original commercials, I'd watch. I think he got the first down. We're going to take a look at this. Let's get to the 44, and that should be enough. He needs to get to the 44. That ball is at the 44. We're going to see official measurement, first down. It is a first down. It is a first down. I love how that graphic just looked like a bowling alley graphic. It's amazing. 79 grams. All right, so I'm going to go with 78 Cowboys, 83 Washington, 90 Bills? Yeah, I think 90 Bills are probably the best bet for best loser. Obviously, 07 Pats, obviously. And I'd say 13 Broncos. I mean, that offense was just unstoppable. In 2020s, 14 Seahawks have a case. 14 Seahawks have a case. The 80s Giants were great. We're talking best Super Bowl losers. We're talking best Super Bowl losers by decade. Not best Super Bowl champion teams by decade. 2020s, I'd probably say the Eagles this year. First and 10, Kenji. Fires past the sticks. It is dropped. Would have been a nice grab to the 29-yard line. Instead, it is dropped by Justin Hall. Yeah, Joe Cap did play in the CFL. Play style, at least from what I could tell, pretty comparable. Because you had a lot of guys make that switch. I mean, Bud Grant transitioned perfectly. You had guys playing the CFL and before moving to the NFL, and vice versa. You had guys playing the NFL versus the CFL. It wasn't really until the last 20 or so years that the style really changed. Yeah, but those are my picks for best loser by decade. 68 Colts, 78 Cowboys, 83 Washington, 90 Bills, 07 Pats, 22 Eagles, 13 Broncos. Pitch play to Thompson, gets about 2 yards there, so 3rd and 8 coming up. Original broadcast without commercials. I wish they had the commercials, but I wish they were the commercials from back in the 80s. That would make things so much better. Third and 7, ball at the 46. They need to get to the other 46 to get this first down. Kenji, they rush 5. Fires. Well short of the sticks. Loses his helmet. I think that should blow the play dead. I believe that blows the play dead. Only getting a 2, so they will be forced to punt this one away. Catch there made by Isaiah Zuber, his first grab of the day, but well short of the sticks. And the Gamblers at midfield are going to be forced to punt this ball away. You have to wonder here, do you line up to go for it, try and draw the Generals offside? You're near midfield. 5 yards isn't going to hurt you. Best case scenario, you get the first down. Worst case scenario, you back up 5 yards and then you punt it. I would try and draw them off here. They're not going to do it, though. Just going to punt this one away. It is Hunter Niswander who punts this one. It is fielded at the 11-yard line. Fair call by Cameron Eccles-Looper. And the Generals, after going 0 for 3 on their first 3 drives, on drive number 4, are going to be starting this at their own 11-yard line, trailing 7-0. Let's see what we got on the chat. Grant player coach in the he coached in the CFL. He coached for 10 years in the CFL. He's a Hall of Famer in the CFL. Got some crazy stories on Grant in the CFL that you will see on Purple Insider in the next week or 2. I promise you. There is an absurd story that, if you're good, I'll reveal it to you. I'll reveal it to you now. But it is an absurd story from his time in the CFL that I am not making up. It is completely 100% real. It's one of those things that could never happen today. And it's one of those things that if it did happen today, he would be fired on the spot. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. Best NFL loser in the 80s was the 85 Rams. Dude, Brock was the bomb. Best team by decade to not make the Super Bowl. All right. I'm assuming just Super Bowl era. We're going to go with... Okay. I'd probably say... 69 Raiders. 69 Raiders for me. Okay, let's do that. 69 Raiders. We're gonna go with the Steelers defense when they were averaging like 10 points a game. When they about like 6 points in the final 7 games. That was what, 76? I want to say. So we'll go with that. 80s. We're gonna go with the. 80s. Who do I want to go with? Who do I want to go with for the 80s? Who do I want to go with for the 80s? Man, that's tough. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. Who do I want to go with for the 80s? 86 Bears, assuming full strength. 99ers, that one's easy. No, actually, no. No, 98 Vikes. The 99ers have a case. 80s, if we're assuming full strength, we're assuming before the dirtiest hit ever. I'm assuming 86 Bears full strength. Play action, Lavetta goes down at the 4-yard line. Loss of 7 on the play. Sacked there by Isaiah Chambers. 2nd and 17. This has been a terrible outing so far offensively. 18 Saints. Yeah, I could give you the 18 Saints. I would say 18 Saints. 2020s, I would say Buffalo in 22. 21, I mean. 21. Buffalo in 21. Not 22. Buffalo in 21, I think. 2nd 17. Play action. Valletta fires. It is just over the head of his intended target, Braden Bowman. Falls incomplete. So 3rd and 17. $2,000s, probably the... What do I go with for the 2000s? Do I go with the... It's 3rd and 17. They rush 4. Lilletta has to avoid the sack, and he does. He's going to run for it. 10, 15, 20. He's got to get to the 22, and he does! Gets to the 23-yard line. What a run by Kyle Lilletta. Escapes the sack, steps up to the pocket, gets 18 yards, and picks up the first down with his feet. Number 2000's best non-champion. Probably the 05 Colts? Yeah, 05 Colts I'll go with. I'll go 05 Colts. 80, I mean, I'm thinking 87 Niners. I'm thinking 87 Niners if we're not assuming full strength for the Bears at 86. And up the middle, gain of 2 there by Victor. What do you think Tony Romo's biggest problem as an announcer is at the moment? I think he's unprepared. I think he's relying too much on instincts, and he's unprepared. He doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing in terms of preparation. He doesn't know player names. He rehashes the same talking points. He doesn't know when to let the moment breathe. That's the other thing. Romo does not know when to shut up. Let the moment breathe. Gene Steratore is explaining a call. Guess what? He's the expert. He's the official. Let him explain the call. Ask questions afterwards. Don't interrupt him in the middle. Just shut up. 2nd and 8, Lilletta. They rush 4, a drop pass again. This time it's Woody Brandup, his first target of the game. 3rd and 8 with just over 5 minutes left. Can't blame Lilletta for that one. Lilletta ran for the first down last time. We'll see what he can do here. He's just 2 for 7 on the day for 20 yards. 11 for 13 last week, but a rough outing so far today. Yeah, I think Romo doesn't do prep work, doesn't let the moment breathe. So those are the 2 biggest things. 3rd and 8, Lilletta, as they rush 4, fires, and that is a low, underthrown ball, incomplete, intended for Marcus Green. Lilletta is just 2 for 8. You have to wonder, will a QB switch be coming at any point? 4:43 left. The Generals are going to have to punt this one away. 4 drives, 3 punts, and 1 failed 4th down conversion. That's an easy out route, too. You had one-on-one all the way. From what I could tell, it looked like it was Nick Grant in coverage. From what I could tell, it looked like number 20. That punt is going to take a favorable bounce for Jersey, but it's not great still. It's going to be at the 39-yard line. Fielded past midfield. Hall is at the 40-yard line. He's still not down. Wait, Hall is still not down. Hall never went down. Hall, okay, what on earth is going on? What? I don't think Hall ever went down. They got a lot to sort out here. I don't think Hall ever went down. Okay, there's a lot to sort out here. It's a net of 14. Houston's got the ball at the 39-yard line. I honestly don't think Hall went down. I think he rolled around his body. So I think that really should have been a fumble. So I don't know what the heck is going on anymore. At least from what I could tell, he wrapped around his body. 80 Chargers, 81 Chargers, that's a good pick, actually. 81 Chargers is a very good pick. Well, the Generals win. Sound looking good right now. I think they make a QB switch in the second half, and we'll go from there, but it's not looking pretty right now. Can't stop Thompson. Can't get anything going offensively. It's not looking good. 96 Broncos, they do have a case, but not over the 98 Vikes, not over the 99ers. All this talking about the NFL makes me want to see if Purdy's battle tested now, throw him back in. Lance can be a good backup. Yeah, but you didn't trade all those picks to get a good backup. You didn't draft the guy 3rd overall to get a good backup. What is the interdivisional team you hate the most? So we're talking any other team in the AFC or any other team in another conference? If I can say what's the team I hate the most that's not in the AFC South, I'd probably say the Patriots. Best non-champion? No, we're doing best team to never make the Super Bowl by decade. Obviously, 07 Pats are the clear-cut answer for doing best non-champion. But you're almost showing every other play. You're only making $1 million per game he announces, and he does no prep work. Is there a more forgotten conference finalist than the '84 Steelers? I mean, people do forget they made it. I'd say the '83 Seahawks are also up there. I feel like '83 Seahawks. I mean, '84 does blend in with the Steelers because you don't really think. Oh wait, they made a conference championship in the '80s. '83 Steelers, though, I would say, or '83 Seahawks. I mean, '83 Seahawks are up there in terms of forgotten finalists. I would say if you ask people, do you remember the game that the Seahawks played in the AFC Championship? I think they'd look at you with two heads. You ask an average NFL fan, remember the time the Seahawks played in the AFC Championship? I think they'd be like, are you saying the right thing? How many touchdown passes is Russ cooking in 23? To the Broncos or to the other team? You got to clarify. First attempt, the 39-yard line. I do want to see that punt return again, though, because I really thought he rolled over the guy. Going for the end zone, and almost a one-handed interception by Dotson. It is an incomplete pass, intended target on the play. Where's Isaiah Zuber? Now, anti-Jets are not really forgotten. I think part of it is because the conference championship was incredibly controversial with the flooding of the stadium field and the horrible conditions, and A.J. Dewey's incredible game and Ken O'Brien just playing absolutely terribly. Not Ken O'Brien, Richard Todd. What am I talking about? Ken O'Brien wasn't on the team back then. I'm talking about Richard Todd. 2nd and 10. Ball at the 39-yard line. Screen pass. It's caught by Hall. Hall to 35. Hall to 30. Hall gets the first down. Hall down at the 26-yard line. Gain of 13 on the play. And good enough for a Gamblers first down as they try to make it a two-possession game. Remember, the Gamblers get the ball to start the second half, so they can double up here. They can double up here and really make things tough for the Generals. Best one-year wonder by decade. Team that came and went quickly. All right, well, the 2010s, I got my answer for that one. 2010s, I got my easy answer for that one. 98 Falcons. Handoff goes to Thompson. Thompson gets 2 yards there. So he gets down to the 24-yard line. Maybe the 23-yard line. Can we count the 06 Saints as a one-year wonder? Because they did nothing the year before. They did nothing for a few years after. They didn't make the playoffs again until 2009. Can we count the Saints as a one-year wonder? I feel like the Panthers would be a one-year wonder. 98 Falcons would be. 98 Falcons. 2nd and 7. Play action. Kenji fires. It's caught behind the line of scrimmage. Gets down to the 20-yard line. Catch there made by Rodell Rahman. Under 3 minutes left. To be 3rd and about 5 yards at the 20-yard line. '90s the Falcons, 06 Saints, 17 Jaguars. Can't really say one-year wonder for the 2020s because it's too early. '80s, let's think '80s. 3rd and 5. Fires, it is dropped. Hall had it in his hands. I think it would have been short anyways. Now you got to try the field goal. It will make it a two-possession game. The drop pass there. Maybe one-year wonder. I'm thinking like top of my head one-year wonders. Like 81 Giants were one-year wonders. The 87 Colts were one-year wonders. Probably go 87 Colts. No, 81 Giants. 81 Giants. 4th and 5. Field goal attempt is up, and it is good. Kick there made by Nick Vogel. Makes it a two-possession game. 10-0. It's a good stop by the Generals, considering the fact that the Gamblers started this drive at the 39-yard line. The Gamblers have some work to do. seeing as they would not run a single play in Houston territory. Then 70, I would probably say the 74 Bills. Probably 74. Probably the playoff Bills. Oh, 1 Bears. Oh, yeah, 0-1 Bears. That's a true one-year wonder right there. Pats, man, the Pats were decent throughout the mid-'80s, though. Pats were decent throughout the mid-'80s. When the Seahawks switched to the NFC, you couldn't have the Texans in the AFC because it would cannibalize the markets. Back when there was no cross-flexing, you couldn't have Houston in the NFC because it would mean that Cowboys games would only be shown in Dallas. They wouldn't be shown throughout Texas. So you had to have Houston in the AFC. And the Seahawks are the most logical team to make the switch. '72 Packers, yeah, but their offense was trash. Their offense was trash that year. It's a good one-year wonder, but their offense was absolutely appalling. Just absolutely appalling. If it weren't for the Freezer Bowl, would the Chargers have made it? Yes, I think they would have. That offense was on another level. The one thing that could neutralize them was terrible weather. '96 Panthers, that's a good choice for a one-year wonder. 17 Bills, they weren't that good. 17 Bills, I was never scared of the Bills. That's the most confident I've ever been for a playoff game. Was playing the Bills. I was never worried about the Bills. That was a team that had no business being there. How are the 78 Oilers a one-year wonder? They made it back to the AFC Championship game the next year. 08 Titans, 13-3. Yeah, but they made the playoffs in 07. They made the playoffs in 07. I can't call them a one-year wonder. 86 Chiefs. Yeah, that was mainly just special teams so dominating. It was mainly just special teams dominating. 95 Colts. Yeah, but they made the playoffs the next year. So I can't really say that either. Kickoff is fielded at the 5-yard line, taken out to the 30. And down he goes at the 31-yard line. It is Eccles Looper. 98 Jets. Are they one-year wonders? I mean, the 90s, it's irrelevant because the Falcons are the biggest one-year wonder. The Falcons are the best one-year wonder of the 90s. I mean, they made the Super Bowl that year. And the Jets were good in 97. They were good in they were decent in 99 and 2000. Then they were good after that. I don't think the Jets were one-year wonders. Valetta's still in the game. You have to wonder, is this his last drive? Yeah, Jets were a two-year wonder. Jets were a two-year wonder. Valetta, they rush 4. Fires quick pass. It is caught at the 35-yard line. Catch there made by Braden Bowman, the tight end. And that'll be the final play before we hit the 2-minute warning. Yeah, the back-to-back overtime pick sixes. I mean, that was just nuts. 77 Broncos. Yeah, but they were good after. 2020 Browns are a one-year wonder. Yeah, if we're talking 2020s, I think the Browns are the best choice. When have the Falcons ever not been one-year wonders, even 2016? I mean, they made the playoffs in 2017. 2015, they were 8-8, so I can't really call them one-year wonders. Yeah, Jets missed the playoffs, so they were good those years. They weren't below 500. And to be fair, 99, they got ravaged by injuries. The fact that they were that good in 99, despite Testaverde being out for the whole year pretty much, says everything you need to know about how good the Jets were. Owen Bears were like the 22 Vikings, but with terrible offense and a stacked defense. Yeah, pretty much. That's a good way of putting it. Just the luckiest team winning one-possession games like that, yeah. Speaking of the Vikings, I did mention, I would say a Bud Grant story that is coming up in further detail on the channel, on the Purple Insider channel. So, I did say something on that. I feel like I need to say what that story is. So we will be saying that at halftime. So stay tuned for halftime, and we shall see. So I think Michael Block just hit a hole-in-one. What a story. What a phenomenal story. I think he just hit a hole in one. Seeing how my feet is blowing up and seeing the reaction, I think Block just hit a hole in one. 1 year wonder championship, any sport, Red Sox in 2013. They were last place in 2012, last place in 2014. 2013, oh, they won the title. If we're talking any sport, like not counting just the big four, it's easily Leicester. If it's any sport, like not counting the big four, it's Leicester. It is absolutely Leicester. But if we're counting just America, it's 2013 Red Sox. 2nd and 6 of the 35-yard line. This is a big drive for Loletta and company. Loletta might get benched after this if he doesn't lead him down the field. Only 3 for 9 so far today. Loletta fires to the sideline, and that is well overthrown. Coverage there by Day and Lake. Intended for Eccles Slipper. There was a flag on the play, though. Yeah, Leicester's going to go down. Leicester's going down. They just look terrible right now. An eligible man downfield, so the play doesn't count. Would have counted anyways. Nice of Marlins, that's a good one too. 03 Marlins if we're going in the same boat. Yeah, Marlins in 97, I wouldn't want to win a championship that way. Like, I feel bad for their fans almost, because it's like, okay, we won the championship, and now we're just going to have a fire sale. All the memories you made with those players, yeah, we're just going to have a team that's worse than our expansion team was. That's just terrible. 2nd and 11 after the penalty. Play action. Loletta fires. He gets hit on the throw, but it is caught drag route down to the 37-yard line. Catch there made on the play by Alonzo Moore. 3rd and 4. If they don't get this first down, Houston can call one of their timeouts. Houston gets the ball to start the second half. This could get very ugly very quick if the Generals are not careful here. Handoff goes up the middle. It's not to Victor. It's to Trey Williams, number 3. Gain of about 10 and good enough for a Generals first down. They have 3 timeouts. We'll see if they start using them here. Probably don't have to do that just yet. Loletta fires over the middle. It is tipped and almost intercepted. Almost intercepted there by number 22, Manny Bunch. Jeremiah Tyler on the pass deflection. That's the second time he's done that today. He was looking for his tight end, Braden Bowman. Threw into traffic, and very lucky that wasn't picked up. Rams, are they a one-year wonder? No. No, they were good the years before. I can't say they're a one-year wonder champion. They collapsed after, but before they were great. They were one of the best teams. 2nd and 10, a lot of mass confusion there. Overthrown ball either way, incomplete pass, intended there for Jamon Moore. We'll see what the call is here. This might be illegal formation. No, they are going to call it is offside on the Gambler, so that was a free play. So bring up 2nd and 5. For the first time today, the Generals are in Houston territory. And there is. I'm surprised he didn't blow the play dead, because the guy jumped, and then the tackle moved. Brandon Haskin, number 76, the tackle moved, and then the ball got snapped. So that really should have been blown dead before him. That's why everyone was so confused. But it is a penalty on the Gambler. 2nd and 5 at the 49-yard line. Loletta, as they rush forward, fires, and that is intercepted. I don't even know what he was looking at. To the 50, to the 45, and tackled out of bounds at the 41-yard line by Braden Bowman. Interception there. You can credit number 2, Jeremiah Johnson, with the pick. He had a guy wide open in the flat and instead forces it. And you have to figure that's going to be the end of the road for Loletta. A horrible first half for him. And the Gamblers have a chance to put this one out of reach early on. If they can score here, remember, they can double up in the second half. He had Bowman wide open in the flat. Easy first down. Then you can call a timeout. Take what's given to you. Instead, he forces it. I don't know why he forced that ball, but it's intercepted by Jeremiah Johnson. And easy interception takes it into Jersey territory. I don't know what on earth Roletta was thinking. I really don't know. But a disastrous first half for him. First and 10 to 42. Play action. Firing end zone. Close to the end zone. And almost intercepted. Almost intercepted. Oh, man, this game is getting very interesting very, very quickly. Intended target there was Tio Redding. Kenji Bahar was looking deep. Couldn't get to go. 49 seconds left. Did I hear about the Sheffield Wednesday Peterborough League One? Yes, that was amazing. A 4-0 deficit, you erase it like that. I mean, that's just nuts. Who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? Threw it at the double coverage, intended for Reading. 2nd and 10 at the 42-yard line. 4 wide. Kenji fires dump off. It is caught. Not much there. It's only a gain of 2. Mark Thompson on the grab. Houston has 2 timeouts. Will they use one of them here? 3rd and 8. Ball at the 40. Remember, Houston gets the ball to start the second half. They're taking their sweet time here, not wanting to risk anything. 20 seconds left on the game clock. Kenji, as they rush 4, fires over the middle, and that is a low throw. But it is caught. Call timeout for Houston. Why are you going no huddle? You can call timeout. Call timeout for Houston. Low throw. What a catch there, though, by number 17, Justin Hall. I don't know. Houston has 2 timeouts. Why are you going no? Oh, just call timeout. What are they doing? What is Houston doing? They have 2 timeouts. Houston has 2 timeouts. What was that? What was that? Did they get the timeout off even before? Or was that the end of the half? What is Houston doing? They had 2 timeouts. Houston had 2 timeouts. Why were they even going no huddle and running up there? Just call a timeout with 13 seconds left. Okay, they do get the timeout in with 2 seconds left. It never needed to come to that point. I'm baffled. Oh my goodness. Dumb Decisions Live, folks. Dumb Decisions Live. Why? You had time for you had time for 2 or 3 plays if you called timeout. Oh my goodness. 37-yard field goal attempt by Nick Vogel. And it ends up not mattering because the Gamblers take a 13-0 lead anyways. And they get the ball to start the half. But what on earth? Oh my goodness. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. They took their sweet time on the 3rd down play, which I get to some extent. You don't get it. It's 3rd and long. You don't get the 3rd down play. You don't want to give Jersey the ball back with time to do anything. Granted, you're going to pin them deep anyways, so I don't necessarily agree with that. And let us not do anything. Your defense is playing well. It's not like Mahomes on the other side. But then after you get the 1st down, if you have 2 timeouts left, why are you going no huddle? Burn one of the timeouts. Why are you trying to get a playoff? You could have had 20 seconds left. You could have had 20 seconds left to call a few plays to the end zone instead of just relying on whatever the heck that was. Oh my God. Well, look, could I coach? I mean, look, I'm not great with X's and O's. But some of this is just common sense. Like, I could be a common sense coach, like just telling people, okay, don't do this. Because what was that? That was some horrible coaching there by head coach Curtis Johnson. That was atrocious. I don't even know what to say about that. Yeah, this was like when Favre tried to quick huddle. Yeah, I did a video on that. I did a video on that a long time ago. You didn't need to do that. You just didn't need to do that. You don't need to go no huddle with 2 timeouts. You just gave the Generals a break for no reason. You self-inflicted wounds. Oh, the clock management. Jeez. Oh my God. All right. Let's see. If Brooks Koepka wins at the PGA, could he be the Joe Namath of golf? I don't think so. I mean, that's a lofty comparison. I don't think he could be. Wednesday's comeback against Peterborough beats the Pats 28-3 comeback. I don't know. I mean, I've seen 4-0 comebacks before. We've never seen 28-3, considering the circumstances. I've seen 4-0. I've seen 4-goal deficits. Barcelona, PSG, Fulham in the Europa League. I've seen that. Crazy stuff, though. Never happened in the champion in the football league, but I've seen it on certain levels. Man. 05 White Sox is when you order now. 06 was decent. All right. So here's the play. Not the play. But I did say I have a crazy story coming up about Bud Grant on Purple Insider. I did say I had a crazy story coming up on Purple Insider. And you're going to hear more about it in a week or two. But I might as well spill the beans on what this one is. So one of the videos that's coming out is something about Bud Grant and the fact that you might not know it, but he was a jokester. He was a jokester. He used to play a lot of practical jokes on his players and other people. And this one, from his time in the CFL, is hands down the craziest one of them all. I am not kidding when I said you couldn't do this today. I'm not just talking because oh, it's like too offensive for today or whatever. I mean, you get fired on the spot. You might go to jail for doing this today. Here's a crazy story about Bud Grant that you might not know about, that we're going to talk about on Purple Insider when that video drops. It's one of the jokes. So it's not. So there's a ton of practical jokes we're going to talk about. But this is one of them, just to give you a taste of what kind of videos we're doing on Purple Insider. Which again, I will link that video in the chat in just a bit. Okay, so imagine this. This is a crazy story. There was a player when Bud Grant was in Winnipeg in the CFL who was a bit too, let's say, eager, a bit too excitable. So he would jump the snap, he'd get a bit too antsy and whatnot. So Bud Grant thought of playing a joke on him to try and ease the tension and try to get him to time the snap better and to not be so antsy and excitable. So here's what he did. He collaborated with one of his players. And the thing was that this player, he'd be in on it. He would intentionally mess up. All right? He would intentionally mess up the plays in practice. And every time he messed up, the assistant coach would get mad. At first, it wouldn't be too mad. And then he'd get really mad. And then he'd get really, really mad. And then he'd get really, really, really mad. And everyone was in on it. The player was in on it, the coach was in on it, Bud Grant was obviously in on it. The player that was too excitable obviously was not in on this. Okay? Get ready for this. I am not making this up. Finally, after another mistake made by that player who was intentionally messing up, and everyone was in on this, the assistant coach pulled a pistol out of his pocket and fired it at the player. He fired a blank at the player. I am not making that up. Bud Grant gave his assistant coach a pistol, a .22 pistol, one that Grant used when hunting dogs. He gave the assistant coach the pistol and said, okay, at this point, after the player messes up five or six times, take the pistol and shoot a blank at the player. I am not making this up, folks. I am not making any of this up. This is a completely real story. It shows the kind of jokester that Bud Grant was. And there's going to be tons of practical jokes that we talk about in that video when it comes out in a few days or weeks, whenever it comes out. But yeah, he shot a player with the player was on it. It was a blank. He get fired like immediately for trying that today. I am not making any of this up. It was not loaded. It was a blank. It was not loaded. It was a blank. But the excitable teammate got the message, like, don't be too excitable because you might get shot. I'm not making this up. I swear on my life, I'm not making this up. This was reported in the Minneapolis Star. And Bud Grant commented on it. How no one knew about that story beforehand, I don't know. Because it's one of those things that's so absurd. Obviously, the first rule of gun safety is you don't point a gun at someone. You always assume it's loaded, and you don't point it at something you don't intend to shoot or kill. Obviously, those are the first two rules of gun safety. I don't even own a gun. I know those two rules. But yeah, that is a completely real story from the 60s about Bud Grant playing a prank on someone, one of his players. Again, I'm not making this up. Those are the kind of videos you're going to get on Purple Insider. And again, the first one just dropped, so go check that out if you haven't already. I'm going to link it right now. That video obviously is not out just yet. But yeah. Again, I'm not making any of this up. I saw that story and was like, what on earth? I was talking with the guy that I'm working with on Purple Insider, Matthew Collar, who's really, really good. And we were talking about, like, Bud Grant as a jokester. And I was like, okay, I did some research. I found this joke also. And he's like, oh my God, that's amazing. But yeah, real story. Would Rodrigo ban him if it happened today? He'd be in jail if that happened today. Forget banning. He would be blackballed from the NFL for life. And he'd be in jail. You can't just fire, even though it's not loaded, you can't just fire a blank at someone. You can't just, I know the player was in on it. I know that he knew it wasn't loaded. But you can't just do that. It's... Yeah, if that happened today, yeah, Goodell would ban him for life. I mean... Can you imagine the story? If that happened... It's crazy. If that was like a blurb in the 60s. Oh yeah, by the way, Bud Grant, practical jokester. Yeah, the one time he shot a player. Yeah, what? If that happened today, can you imagine? That'd be all over the news. That'd be leading every storyline. That'd be lead every news channel in the world. That, yeah, coach shoots a player at practice. That'd be the leading story across the entire country if that happened today. But it happened in the 60s in Canada, so apparently it was okay. Apparently it's okay. And again, I'm not making any of this up. If you have a newspapers.com subscription, I can link that. I can link that in there. Really, it's absurd. I couldn't believe it when I found that story. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this one to you because I think this could work out incredibly well. Let me see if I can find the exact dates of it. This was what? It was Minneapolis Star, December 13th, 1968. Alright, so I'll just get the link in there. We're about to kick off and start the third quarter. Let's see, is this, yeah, here we go. If you have the newspapers.com subscription, here it is. You want to see it. They need to improve your driving skills, so cut your brakes. Enjoy. Yeah, didn't the NBA get mad at a player for storing a gun in the locker room? Yeah, they got mad at Gilbert Arenas. The whole John Moran thing. Yeah. I can't even imagine that. I have to get my dinner out of the oven. I'll look forward to the stream next week. I love this stream, Jack. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, no streams next week. Unfortunately, we can't do any streams next week, but we'll do a Q&A stream. We will do a Q&A stream sometime this week because I feel bad that we're not going to have a stream. But I'll be gone, so we will not have a stream next week for week 7. But we will have streams for week 8. We will have streams for week 8. Oh, yeah, accidents absolutely still happen if you have links. It's the first rule of gun safety. You always assume it's loaded. And Kyle Lauletta is on the bench. Again, Houston has the ball to start off at their own 40-yard line. 13-0. We'll see if Lauletta comes in for the second half. But right now, we got to see how Kenji Bahar can do leading this Gamblers offense. Play action, screen pass. That one is caught by Hall. Hall at the 40, Hall at the 45. It goes down at the 46-yard line. Getting a 6 there. Best Super Bowl champion by season. Man, that's tough. That's tough. Best champion by season. There's only like one of them. Which Camp Rock movie was it? Oh, one. It's not even close. One had better music. One had a better plot. 2 was just forgettable in every way. I watched 2 once and never went back to it. 2nd and 3. Play action slant route, and that is a poor throw there. Zipped it. Couldn't hit his intended target on the play. Kiki Chisholm. The 3rd and 3. Pork chops, marinated baked potato asparagus. Ooh. All right. 3rd and 3. Ball at the 46, 47-yard line. Worst Super Bowl champion by season. I think it'd be the same. Most average champion by season. I think it'd be the same one as well. Bahar, 3rd and 3. They rushed 5 over the middle. Was there contact before the throw got there? There was. Pass interference on the play. Looking for Justin Hall. There was contact before. Pass interference on the play. Pass got there after the contact was made. Call it on number 21, Trey Elston. It's a tough call to make. They do say it is PI, and it gives the Gamblers a new set of downs. Which Bulls 3-peat was better? I think 96 or 98. 1st and 10. Play action. Screen to Hall to the opposite side of the field this time. Breaks a tackle, and Hall goes down at the 40-yard line. So a gain of 8 on the play. They called that play on 1st down before. To the far side of the field. This time they go to the near side of the field. Broken tackle there. Got to make that tackle if you're Christian Tutt, number 6. Eventually brought down on the play by DeJuan Hines. A poor tackling there by the Generals sets up 2nd and short. What's the dumbest field goal ever? Oh, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of them. Thompson gets bottled up on the swing pass. Gets it bottled up there. There's a bunch of dumb field goals. 3rd and 4 coming up. I think Matt LaFleur's decision to try the field goal in the MC Championship was pretty bad. There's a field goal coming up that I'm going to talk about. I think the Freezer Bowl, the field goal attempt there, that was like the first dumb decisions video I did. Where, okay, let's try a 50-plus yard field goal in minus 59 degrees when our kicker can't hit anything. There's one video that's coming up on Friday. So we have 3rd and 5. I'll explain in a bit. 3rd and 5, 43. That pass is caught and gets the 1st down on the play. It is Anthony Ratliff Williams. First down. There is a video coming up on Friday that when you consider the circumstances, it might be the dumbest field goal ever. It's a Jets field goal from the 80s. It is a Joe Walden masterpiece. It is a Joe Walden masterclass in how not to coach. It's a stupid field goal. Handoff goes to Thompson. Thompson gets about 8 yards there. You also have a Falcons-Niners field goal that Secret Base did a video on, John Boyce did a video on. That was pretty dumb. That was a pretty dumb field goal. Where they actually lost probability odds of winning after making the field goal. 2nd and 2, ball at the 28-yard line. You got 4 wide. You got Kenji back there. The running back Thompson. Kenji fires over the middle. It is incomplete, intended for Hall. Hall's been the go-to guy this drive. He's been targeted 4 or 5 times already. 3rd and 2. Might be 4-down territory here because of how close they are. Touchdown makes it a 3-possession game. Touchdown does make it a 3-possession game. So, on the line here for the Gamblers if they can do this. But yeah, Jets game with Joe Walden. Friday's episode of Dumb Decisions. You will see that. I have a Dumb Decisions episode coming out every single week for the next month. That's a fun one. Did I miss the CFL story? I linked it in the... Yeah, I said about it at halftime. And once again, it's Hall, and once again, he gets the first down. Needed 2, got 3, gets down to the 25, gets the first down. I linked it in the chat. I will link it again here. Basically, long story short, Bud Grant shot a player. Long story short, Bud Grant shot a guy during practice. And if you want to hear more stories like that, subscribe to Purple Insider. Do the Purple Stories. Video just came out today. We got a few more coming up as well. It's going to be a fun project this offseason. So go check those out. Handoff goes up the middle to Sherman Jones, his first handoff of the game. Jones picks up 2. Taking a lot of time off the clock. I saw a good question from Eggonator. Worst team ever that didn't finish with the worst record? That's a great question. The worst team ever that didn't finish with the worst record. So the best team to have like the number 2 pick in the draft. 2nd and 7, handoff up the middle, goes to Jones. He loses a yard. So you got 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 coming up. Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Worst team ever. As Vegas just tied it up. That didn't finish with the worst record. Man. I would probably say the 82 Oilers. I'd probably say the 82 Oilers. As that is caught by Hall, but that is 1 yard short of the first down. We'll see what they do here. It's at the 16-yard line. Need to get to the 15. They leave the offense out there. It's a long drive already. It's over 7 minutes. The 82 Oilers were 1-8, and the Colts were 0-8-1. And the Oilers were just atrocious that season in every sense. They had terrible coaching staff. Ed Biles had no idea what he was doing. Ed Biles was awful. Terrible offense, terrible defense. They were just bad all the way around. I would say the 82 Oilers. 34-yard kick. They are going to leave a field goal unit out there, and it is good for Nick Vogel. 16-0 ball game. A drive that takes up half of the 3rd quarter. They come away with 3, but they do kill a lot of time here. Still a 2-possession game, but we'll see what the Generals do on offense when we get back from commercial break. Will they go with Letta? Will they go with Johnson? We will see. The 2012 Bobcats were so bad that I wish MJ came out of retirement. It couldn't be any worse. My favorite part was if they cut Boris Diaw when he started for the Spurs. That's my favorite part. Is if they cut their best player. Sunday Night Football featured Green Bay kicking a field goal, Chicago blocked on punt, and then returning all the way to the end zone for kick 6. Best Eagles QB ever. Best Eagles QB ever. It would be tough for me not to go with Van Brocklin. Tough for me not to go with Van Brocklin. Sonny is number 2, probably. Not what Coach meant by, come on, Coach, give me a shot. That's good. 76 Seahawks, yeah, you know, that's a good pick. 76 Seahawks is a good pick. Won 2 games. One of them was against the Falcons, who were just a train wreck. The other against an expansion team, so can't really count that. Yeah, 76 Seahawks. If I can't do the 82 Oilers, I say 76 Seahawks. Braves would have won 94 World Series. I still believe in my heart the Expos would have won. The AL West champion, they would have won. Whoever won the AL West would have won. 10 games below 500. 20 Jets. I mean, 20 Jets, they had some close games. Raiders game they should have won. Patriots game they should have won. Like, you could make an argument the Jets should have been 4-12 that year. 09 Lions, 08 Browns, or 08 Rams, I mean. Yeah. Birthday's a couple weeks. Happy birthday, Ethan. Happy early birthday. Hopefully it's a good one. 81 Colts. That defense was terrible. They were 2-14 that year. Their defense was, what they allowed, like 500-something points. They were terrible. Yeah, 81 Colts is a good pick. 81 Colts is a very good pick. 82 Oilers won the Stanley Cup. Now, that was in the middle of the only good period of hockey the Islanders ever had. Second worst team, 09 Lions. Yeah, they were pretty bad. I think 09 Lions, 76 Seahawks, 82 Oilers, 81 Colts. I think those are the big 4 right now. I think those, if I'm doing a Mount Rushmore of those, I think that's probably your top 4. I mean, the Jets, The problem with the Jets is that they should have beat the Raiders if Greg Williams wasn't an idiot, and they should have beat the Patriots if their coaching staff wasn't stupid. Like, the Jets really should have been 4-12 that year. Kickoff is fielded and returned by Eccles-Looper to the 35-yard line, and now we see what the Generals do on offense. It is Loletta going back out there, I gotta say. Not what I saw coming. Not at all what I saw coming. The Generals have only had 13 minutes of possession, 6 drives, 82 yards, just 3.4 yards per play. Kyle Loletta has been atrocious today. 4 for 12, completing 33% of his passes for 33 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, a passer rating of 7.6, which is worse than if he's nothing but spike the ball into the ground every single play. He's been terrible today. I'm a bit surprised they're not going back to Johnson. I'm very surprised. Patriots are also 2-14 and 81. Yeah, Pats got the number 1 pick, though. Are we assuming they had to have the same record? Or are we... If they have the same record, does that count? If the Expos win the World Series in 94, they never move in 05. I asked Spud Seelig about this. He said he doesn't believe that for a second. He says that he doesn't believe for a second that anything that happened in 94 would have stopped the Expos from winning in 05. Take that for what it is. Could the A's be eliminated from playoff contention before the All-Star break? No. That's not even physically possible. I don't think that's physically possible because you play, 85 games before the All-Star, 90 games before the All-Star break? Because the first half's a bit longer than the second half. So unless you're... It's not possible. It's physically not possible. I mean, will they make the playoffs? No. They'll be like 30 games back of a playoff spot at the All-Star break, but they're not going to be... eliminated. The only way you can be eliminated from the playoffs before All-Star break is if you go like 0-90 and everyone else is like 80-10 or something like that. I did say the line. Okay, it doesn't count, otherwise the 92 Seahawks count. That is a good point. So the Colts don't count then. The Seahawks count. The 76 Seahawks count. The Oilers count because the Colts are winless in 82. So the Oilers count from 82. So I'm fine with that. The Expos, their stadium situation was just terrible. They were never going to get a new stadium. Not at the time, at least. They were so badly burned from 76, they were so reluctant to ever doing anything like that again. Because they were so badly burned. How much did you talk to Bud Selig? So, I actually took a class with him. So, I went to ASU Law. I'll explain more after this. First and 10 at the 35-yard line. Handoff goes to Victor, gain of about 5 yards on the play. So, Dick Butkus won Defensive Player of the Year. Cortis Kennedy won Defensive Player of the Year in 92. It's right for Seahawks, 7 the worst team in football. So, Bud Selig, there was a class at ASU Law about the history of baseball in sport and society. And, like, baseball and the law. So, you talk about antitrust exemption, you talk about relocations, you talk about all these issues that have plagued baseball and their impact in the law. And Bud Selig would teach the class. So the first hour would be the professor, who I loved, and the final 2 hours would be Bud Selig, and it'd just be a Q&A about whatever the lesson was. And it was a very, very good class, and like we could just pick his brain on anything, really. So, yeah, I had like a 4-month-long class with Bud Selig, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So, yeah, anytime I said that I spoke with Bug, I literally, he was my professor about a class in baseball. All right, 3rd and 2 ball at the 43-yard line. 6 minutes left. Play action, Laletta. He's got a guy wide open in the flat, and that is caught. Nice, easy throw to the 50, to the 45-yard line. Nice broken tackle there by Woody Brandom. So again, at 12 yards on the play, gets into Houston territory, and good enough for a Generals first down. This is the deepest that the Generals have been all game, I believe. I don't think they've crossed the 40-yard line of Houston just yet. We know the A's are going OT. When's Rays lease with the Trop, and they need out. I think 2027, I want to say. I think it's a 30-year lease. I could be wrong. Play action, Laletta. He's got no one there. He's got to get sacked. Tries to throw it away, but he was down beforehand. Sacked there on the play by Reggie Walker. Loss of about, loss of 4 on the play. 2nd and 14. Reggie Walker with the sack. So weird play. It looked like he was looking for a guy in the flat, but there was no one in the flat. And it looked very similar to the 3rd down play. He was looking for a guy in the flat, but no one was in the flat. I think he was looking for Brandom, and Brandom wasn't open, so he was looking for a second guy, which was Bowman. Bowman was too late coming off the line. So just a weird play all the way around. I can't blame Laletta for that one. Letta's had a bad game. I can't blame him for that one. That was a busted play. 2nd and 18. Play action, out route. Not a great throw, but Moore does make the grab. That one is Alonzo Moore. He got some of that yardage back. Brings up 3rd and 12. Ever since the era of dual use Sames ended, it seems tougher to move in baseball. Yeah, I mean, Selig is proud of the fact that since 1970, there have been so many relocations in the NHL and NBA and NFL. There's only been one in baseball, and that's the Expos. 3rd and 12 at the 47-yard line. Play clock at 0. Laletta, he's got to avoid the pressure. He avoids the sack, resets, fires, and that is caught. Down to the 32-yard line. This is the best drive the Generals have had. That time it is Jamon Moore. So we get Alonzo Moore on the 2nd down, hit Jamon Moore on 3rd down. A nice play there. You know, about 17, good enough for a Generals first down. What would Bud Selig dislike about the MLB since he left? Ooh, that's a good question. I think he'd be furious and frustrated about the Oakland situation. I think he would be disgusted with the Oakland situation. I think he would be absolutely disgusted with what's happening in Oakland. Kind of up the middle goes to Victor. Gain of 2. I think he'd also be furious about the Astros. I think he would have done much harsher punishments than what Manfred did. So I was watching a few of your Heidi game videos earlier today. You were talking about, have you ever figured why with the NFL or AFL played at 2 o'clock and make a video on it? Yeah, the blue law rules. Yeah, I figured out it was blue law. That was like one of the first videos I made, the Heidi Game 2 video. But yeah, I've talked about blue laws in a bunch of future videos after that. It was blue law rules. that prevented games from starting earlier than that. Second A, play action. Loletta fires over on a drag route that is incomplete, intended for Brandon. Batted down on the play by Jeremiah Tyler. That's his third pass breakup of the day. Tyler's had a phenomenal game at linebacker. Are Rams, Raiders, and Chargers the only Big Four teams to return to a city? I believe so. That actually wasn't a pass breakup there by Tyler. That actually looked to be dropped by Brandon. Right, I believe so. I don't think anyone else has come back. He caused the Oakland situation by not allowing the easement to Fremont or San Jose. This is true, but he does believe in territorial rights. And it's a very dicey situation. Third and 8, and he fires and it is caught. Caught on the play there by Newman. Warren Newman with the grab. And they're in the red zone. Yeah, he believes in territorial rights pretty strongly. So it wouldn't be fair to the Giants, which I don't get that argument. There's a lot that I don't agree with Seelig. There's a lot that I do agree with, but there's a lot that I don't, and that's one of them. The fact that you were saying the Gamblers are done for, I don't mean in the game. I want to make it very clear, I don't mean in the game, as that is a huge loss there by Chambers. That is a huge loss there. Loss of about 8 on the play. I want to make it very clear. I never said anything about Houston in the game being done for. I said Houston as a team being done for. And here's what I mean by that. In year 3, all these teams are going to be back in their home cities. That's the goal. Houston is in a market that has another spring team already. And this team that's in there, the XFL team, the Roughnecks, already has a fan base because they play their games in Houston. How are they going to survive? They're not going to survive. That pass goes for no yards to Warren Newman. When I say done for, I don't mean in terms of the quality of the play. They could win the championship this year. They're a good team. They could win it all. I mean in terms of their survival in Houston. That's what I mean. How are the Gamblers going to survive in Houston when there's already another spring football team in Houston that has a fan base there because they played their games there before? And then this team is going to be playing in the heat of the summer in muggy weather with all this competition from other sports. Third and 17, Loletta looking to get Victor at the 16-yard line. So that was the final play of the quarter. We got 15 minutes left in this game. So nice that the Gamblers are done for. I want to make that very clear. I don't mean the on-field product. I don't mean the quality of the team. I never meant done for in terms of the game. They were the favorites in this game. I never meant it like that. I meant done for as a franchise after this season. I don't see how they're the Houston Gamblers next year. If I'm wrong, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I don't see how the Gamblers survive in Houston when already you have support for the Roughnecks who play spring football in a league that overlaps for a third of the season with the USFL. So how's that going to work out? I don't know. I don't know how that's working out. So unless they play a different team, but where are you going to play? Maybe they reopen the Astrodome. I don't know where you're going to play, though. I don't know where you're going to play because you can't play TDECU because the Roughnecks already play there. It would just be a pain in the butt to do it. Generals were the favorites. Yeah, but Loletta was starting. You never knew what you were going to get with Loletta. You never knew. So I just want to make that very clear. When I say done for, I meant as a franchise playing in Houston next year. I don't think they're going to be in Houston next year. I don't see how that's viable for anyone. They'll be in some other city next year. That's what I mean by that. I don't mean in terms of on-field product. I don't mean in terms of quality of play. I mean in terms of the game. They've been leading wire to wire. So that wouldn't even make any sense. That wouldn't even make any sense. As a Jags fan, what do you think of Byron Leftwich being on the Bucs staff? I really wanted Leftwich. I was shocked when we didn't get him, when all that fell through. It turned out to be the biggest blessing in disguise because Leftwich was exposed tremendously this past year. Very predictable play calling. Houston will not stick around in the USFL, so the Gamblers then went to Fulham. The Gamblers would be best served to move to an Eastern market next season. Yeah. Yeah, I would say... I could see Oklahoma City. I could see... because you already have the rights. And they were a USFL team at one point. But I'd be shocked. Because you're overlapping your season with the XFL as it is. So you're telling me you're going to have 2 spring football teams playing at the same time in the same city? How is that going to work? You're just going to be cannibalizing each other. And the Roughnecks will have more fan support because it's going to be the end of their season, and they have an established base in Houston. Meanwhile, you haven't played a game. Have I lost all respect for Urban? Yes. I will not even watch the Fox pregame show on college football as long as Urban's there. I have no respect for him. I can't take a single word that he says seriously. 16-0. It is 4th down. It's going to be a 35-yard attempt. You could play at Rice Stadium. You could play at Rice. That's a good point. 4th and 6. I'm going to try and get on the board here. Nick Skiba, and that kick is good. 35-yard kick is good. The Generals do get on the board with 14:56 left in the ball game with their best drive of the game. Problem is that still 2 possessions. The other problem is that the last drive, compared with Houston's drive also, that took the entire third quarter. So time is running out for the Generals to do something. Again, in terms of what's on the agenda, again, today we put out a Vikings video on Purple Insider, so go check that out if you haven't already. I tweeted it before. Yeah, Houston has an MLS team. They have the Dynamo. They also have the Dash. I don't know how you're going to fit a football field with Dynamo's schedule and with Dash's schedule. I don't know how it's going to happen. We have a JG9 video coming out tomorrow. We have a JG7 video coming out tomorrow as well. JG8 videos are on their way this week, which is good. I know it's been a very long time. I deeply apologize. I really, really wanted to get some JG vids out. It's just been tough, but we are going to do that. What league could practically expand and realistically expand to Columbus? NWSL, WNBA, one of the lacrosse leagues, XFL, NBA. Yeah, I don't think NBA would happen. I think the Cavs would throw a fit. But XFL, problem is that it's too cold. Remember that XFL, you're playing February, March. So good luck getting fans to show up in cold weather for minor league football. Good luck with that. USFL they could. If they don't stick with Canada, I could see Columbus with a USFL team. NWSL would be a great fit. WNBA, yeah. And one of the lacrosse leagues for sure. For sure, one of the lacrosse leagues. Could the Gamblers play at Mini-Meet? I'm not sure the Astros would allow that. Upon the Generals moving to their home market, Red Bull Arena, I know there's been talk. Red Bull Arena wants nothing to do with football. Red Bull Arena has never hosted a football game. They have no intention. That is strictly a soccer stadium. And Red Bull doesn't need the money with rent to do that. So, because otherwise Red Bull Arena, they would have hosted the New York Guardians in 2020. If that was the Guardians, they would have played in New York in 2023. The problem is that Red Bull Arena wants nothing to do with football. Now, having said that, New York in 2027 or so, once City Field, once the New York City FC moves into their soccer-specific stadium, which is finally, knock on wood, happening, once that happens, they might think differently and be like, you know what? A team in Queens? Let's do it. Let's put a football team in Queens. I can see that. We have a $20 from Weather Chart. Holy cow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me get to your comment. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot to me. Thank you for all the love and support. Holy cow. Wow. Did not see that coming. Thank you so much for that. Holy cow. All right. Thanks for all the streams. Have not been on much due to my birthday. I will celebrate more in early June when I go to Canada. Ooh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Have a great time in Canada. What city? What city in Canada? I've been to last time I was in Canada was like 2008. Went to Vancouver because we were doing a cruise in Alaska. It was gorgeous. Love Vancouver. as Vegas just won the game. Gorgeous. Gorgeous city. Please be sure to get some rest. You've been on a grind, so be sure to pace yourself. I will definitely do that. Thank you so much, man. Really means a lot to me. Yeah, I put out 13 videos this past week. Definitely the most I pushed myself. Had to get 8 hours of sleep because I only got 2 the previous day before I did the USFL stream. So that's why I couldn't put out a video today, unfortunately. But we are on the grind. The grind doesn't stop, but we're going to pace ourselves. We are definitely going to pace ourselves, which is good. So Houston's going to have this on the 33 when we get back. So we had, let's see, end of quarter, commercial, field goal, commercial, kickoff, commercial. Are we serious right now? Are we actually serious right now, Fox and the USFL? We have had end of quarter commercial, field goal commercial, kickoff commercial. We're going to Calgary. Ooh, never been to Calgary. Never been to Calgary. Have a great time, though. Also celebrating your mom's birthday. That's awesome. That is awesome. Have a great time. Enjoy every second of it. Are all 4 conference finals going to be sweeps? No, I think the Celtics take one. And look, the Hurricanes are a good team. They're going to take one. Hurricanes are going to take one. Because I can't say are all of them going to be sweeps when we haven't even played in Dallas yet for the Vegas series. Vegas is up 2-0 in that one. We haven't played in Dallas. Both games went to overtime. I think it's going to happen. If the Astros don't allow, I would propose that they relocate to Constellation Field in Sugarland or whatever field in Corpus Christi. Yeah, I mean, Sugarland, that's not a bad spot. I mean, that's a nice ballpark with a lazy river going through it. Right, that one has a lazy river going through it. Right, I think that one has the lazy river. It's got something at least. Because I remember that ballpark when the Sugarland Skeeters, before they became the Space Cowboys, they were in the Atlantic League, which never made any sense to me. But with that being said, Gamblers ball at the 33-yard line. 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Thompson. Thompson with a nice cut. Thompson gets about 7 yards there down to the 40-yard line. So the injury report on the screen, Chris Orr, the linebacker, Shalom Luwani, safety, both out for the Generals for the rest of this game. Only 1 touchdown today came from the Gamblers, came on the ground by Thompson. Thompson's got 54 yards rushing. He's got a touchdown. His 9th touchdown in the last 4 games. 2nd and 2, they're going to mark it at the 41-yard line. That's a long 2. So I'm just going to leave it at 2nd and 3. That's a long 2. Fake the screen pass to go to Thompson. He gets the 1st down to the 45-yard line. You're from Sugarland. Oh, all right. There's a lot of controversy surrounding multifamily development that is stalling a lot of development and pitting developers against one another. And decisions, I'm guessing. Yeah. And dividing residents as well. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough because you got people that want development, got the not in my backyards. It's a tough dynamic. It's a tough dichotomy. It really is. Hockey traditionalists are going to love the Stanley Cup final between Florida and Vegas. Oh, the ratings in Canada are just going to be phenomenal for that. 1st and 10 to 45. Kenji fires. Caught. Gain a 7 on the play. Is number 85 with his first grab of the game, Josh Peterson. Brings up 2nd and about 3. As they get into Jersey territory. They went on a long drive last time. Took about 8 minutes off of the clock. 13-point game. If they score a touchdown here, making a 2-possession game, this one could be over. 12:56 left. 2nd and 2. Handoff goes to Thompson. Thompson needs 2 yards. He gets the 2 yards that he needs down to the 45-yard line and a 1st down. The Gamblers have done a very good job all game of staying ahead of schedule. So they get into these 2nd and medium situations, and then they just give it to Thompson. He gets yards, plows up the middle, 1st down number 12, and they go on these long sustained drives, and that's all you need against a Jersey team that's struggling to do anything offensively. Yeah, you also got to worry about minor league baseball. That's the other thing you got to worry about. They mark at the 44-yard line, actually. Handoff goes to Thompson. Thompson gets down to the 42, so 2nd and 8. Like, I think the Houston market is just too saturated. This is why I think the Roughnecks could work in Houston, because they play February to April. So you don't have the Dynamo yet. You don't have the Dash. You don't have minor league baseball. But now you add all of that on top of already another existing spring football team, it's just going to be too much. I don't think Houston can succeed. I don't think Houston can succeed whatsoever. There's too much competition for the entertainment and sports dollar. To waste it on a third football team is asking a lot. Pass is caught down to the 26-yard line by Clint Sig, his 4th grab of the game. We're going to see if this play stands, though. Flag came right on the snap, so we'll see what this is. And it is going to be on the Gamblers. At least this game, knock on wood, has not had a lot of flags compared to the last game, which had 25, something like that. 2nd and 13, though, after that play. 5-yard penalty moves it back to the 47-yard line. Imagine a Vegas Florida Stanley Cup. Oh, man. Second and 13. Not much there for Thompson. So a 3rd and long coming up. Would Bud Selig support an MLB team in Vegas? He hates the idea of any pro sports in Vegas. He hates the idea of pro sports in Vegas. He doesn't believe there should be a single team in Vegas. He thinks it is way too dicey to put a team in the gambling capital of the world. He thinks it's way too dicey to do that. He absolutely hates any team in Vegas. I think the integrity of the game could be lost because of it. And the moment you lose the integrity of the game and people think it might be rigged, that's when people tune out, like they did with the Black Sox. Pass to Sig, gain of 4. Well short of the first down. 4th and 7. Probably just going to pin him deep here, but a long drive, though. Took 5 minutes off the clock. What about Energy Stadium? It wouldn't look good. Too big. The rent's probably way too high. Well, don't they have like a rodeo around that time that you have to plan the stadium for, and that would take a while to do? I could be wrong on that, because I don't know when that is. Back in Sugarland, I ran for mayor of Sugarland and know much about the issue. Oh, you ran for mayor? That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We spoke about recent issues with the recent redevelopment plan with the Space Cowboys were left out of the loop. Yeah, that makes no sense why they were left out of the loop, because people know Sugarland for that reason. People know Sugarland for the Space Cowboys. Punt is down to the 4-yard line, eventually down to 1, but was first touched at the 4. Nice punt there by the punter, Hunter Niswander. So Jersey has their work cut out for them. They have to go 96 yards. Sealy has no room to speak about the integrity of the game. I will say this about Sealy. I truly believe with him that everything he did, he thought was in the best interest of baseball. Ready to Houston's February, March. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Now, do I agree with everything he did? No, absolutely not. But I truly believe that everything he did, he thought was in the best interest of baseball. Not the owners, not someone else's pockets, not people that didn't care about the game. Baseball. He truly cared about the sport, and that came first and foremost. He was a fan of the game. Now, did I agree with every decision that he made? No, not at all. But did I agree? But I believe that I believed he truly loved the game. I don't know if Manfred loves the game. That's the difference. Manfred, I don't know if he loves the game or not. I'm not talking about the rule changes. I'm talking about the whole piece of metal thing. I'm talking about some of the rule changes where it's like, okay, we want to play less baseball with extra innings, ghost runners, which I'm actually fine with the ghost runner rule. I'm actually very surprised that I actually like the ghost runner rule as long as it's not in the playoffs. I'm actually okay with that. I mean, it's funny because Selig, at least, take it for what it's worth. Take it for what it's worth. Selig said that he hated steroids. He never believed in them. And that he brought up the issue to the players when it happened, and they wanted nothing to do with what Selig was saying. He wanted drug testing. And the players were like, no way. That's what he said. Take it for what it's worth. But Selig at least said he's vehemently against steroids and absolutely hates the idea of any steroid players getting into the hall. So take that for what it's worth. Whether you want to believe it or not is up to you, but at least from what Selig said in class, he hated steroids. He brought up the issue. The players didn't want to hear it. And because the union's so strong, there's nothing they can do. Valletta's still in the game. 9:29 left. 1st and 10 at the 4-yard line. 2 wide on the near side. The motion to tight end. Motion Bowman. Play action. Valletta has to get rid of it. Fires over the middle. It is caught. Breaks a tackle down to the 19-yard line. Nice catch there. Gets some breathing room. Catch there made by number 81, Jamal Morgan. A 15 on the play. I mean, steroids is cheating. Let's call it for what it is. I mean, you're making yourself stronger and forcing everyone else to take. The only way to keep up is to take drugs. The number one problem, the gameplay sucked. That was the biggest problem. The gameplay was awful. That was the problem. The quality of football was atrocious. It's like they had this great marketing, they had this great product, and they forgot to actually play football. That was the problem with the original XFL. They forgot the whole football aspect. They had the X part, they forgot the F part. 8:30 left. Ball at the 20-yard line. Again, this game is on Fox. Game was in 16-3. Ghost Runner does add gamesmanship. Leadoff batter can easily hit a sacrifice spot right from the beginning and advance around a third without doing anything. Yeah. I wish the Ghost Runner was at first. I'll put it that way. I wish the Ghost Runner was at first because I don't like the fact that you can throw a perfect aim and not and still lose. I don't like that part. 3rd and about 5. So I wish that would change. But I'm fine with the concept of Ghost Runner. Because the last thing you want to do is deplete your bullpen. These games were taking too long. Playoffs, as long as you don't do Ghost Runner. Never do Ghost Runner for the playoffs. But for regular season, got 162 games, I'm okay with it. Just so you watch other sports. He talked about watching he watched the NFL. He's talked about the NFL before. I mean, one time I was wearing, this was like when this was back in spring 2021 I had this class. Wore Jaguar shirt to class one day, and he just roasted me for being a Jags fan. True story. So he watches the NFL. Was Selig angry at DraftKings or whatever gambling service the NFL partner with? He would not have done it. I would say that. If Selig was commissioner, he's not partnering with any gambling company. 1st and 10, incomplete pass, broken up on the play by Jeremiah Johnson, the man who had the interception earlier. Like, I'll say this much about Selig. There is no way whatsoever, no amount of money in the world would make him partner with any sportsbook. DraftKings, FanDuel, you name it, he would not partner with anyone like that. And if he was commissioner, he would throw a fit. He never brought this up, but knowing him, he would throw a fit that the D-backs, there's a casino right across from their stadium. There's a sportsbook right across from the stadium. There's a DraftKings sportsbook. Literally across from there. There's Guy Fieri's bar, and it's literally inside the sportsbook. And you walk 5 feet, you're at Chase Field. Yeah, the XFL, the original one, was focused on the entertainment aspect, forgetting the fact that at the end of the day, you're still going to play football. Yeah, it was so full of gimmicks. Problem was that none of the gimmicks worked. None of the gimmicks were any good. The chase for the ball, the scramble, was so pointless and just got people injured. Allowing defenders to run wild, just made for no offense, and people want to see offense. Play action hit in the flat. It is Braden Bowman, gets down to the 46-yard line, first down. This drive's taking a lot of time, though. This is just the second drive of the half for the Generals. Shows you the pace of how the second half has gone. Very quick moving. You got 5.5 minutes left. 1st and 10 ball at the 46-yard line. Loletta, they rush 4. Fires, sideline, incomplete pass. Intended target on the play, if you want to call it that, was Jamon Moore. But not even remotely close. At least now, the good news for the Generals is that the clock will stop on any incomplete passes since we were inside 5 minutes. But you can't be going into a huddle. You can't be taking this much time with a running clock. You're down by 2 possessions. You're running out of time. You need 2 touchdowns. 2nd and 10. Loletta fires as he gets hit. It is caught for a first down. And down at the 41-yard line, catch there made by Marcus Green. Easy being Green on that one. Gain of 15 and good for a first down. What would Bud Sealy think of the Texas Live Bar and Restaurant? I mean, there's no casino in there, so I don't think he'd have any issues with that. Right? There's no Texas Live, unless there's a sports book in there. No, I mean like this one's attached to the stadium. This one is attached to the venue. It's a gain to the 25-yard line. It's Newman. It is Newman on the grab. I mean, literally, the sports book is attached to the stadium. That's the difference. It's not that it was like a separate entity. This sports book is attached to the stadium. There is no way Sealy would allow that to happen if he was commissioner. You have to leave the stadium to get there, but it's basically attached to the stadium for all intents and purposes. Loletta fires, end zone. It is caught. Oh my goodness! What a catch! Cameron Eccles-Looper. They drive 97 yards down the field, and folks, we have a ball game. Cameron Eccles-Looper jumps over the cornerback. I think we're going to get a flag afterwards for taunting on Eccles-Looper. Oh no. Oh, it's on the Generals before the touchdown. Ineligible man downfield. That was an awfully late flag. Oh, man. Oh, man. Ineligible man. That's the second time today that's happened. Can't be more than 5. Yeah, that's the right call. That's the right call, unfortunately. Cam Carter was more than 5 yards down the field. He was at the 20. He was at the 25. We're about to still taking action to destroy the sportsbook at Chase. So no touchdown, wipe it off the board. A great catch by Eccles-Looper, but it doesn't count. Loletta fires. He's got a man. It's open. It's Newman. Down to the 5-yard line. Again, at 25 yards. First and goal at the 5. So they get some of that yardage right back. A nice throw by Loletta, who's playing much better the second half. Led Newman perfectly out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Forced out of bounds by, I believe it was Nick Grant, number 20. No, it was number 38. My apologies. Donald Rutledge Jr. who forced that one. So first and goal, 3.5 minutes left in this contest. Ball at the 6-yard line. It's a fumble snap! It's a fumbled snap! I don't know why Loletta just didn't fall on it. He tried to scoop it up and run with that. He just got to fall on that. Either way, it's a loss of 1. 2nd and goal. And now you are clearly in 4-down territory. The problem is that this drive is taking forever. That's the problem here. The Generals have touched the ball twice this entire half. 3:15 left. I believe the Generals called their first timeout. They've got 2 left. What do I think of the Ticketmaster controversy? I think Ticketmaster is scum. I think Ticketmaster needs to be broken up the way that it is. I think Ticketmaster is terrible. Adding on fees, hiding tickets. Like, I use SeatGeek for everything. Because they they tell you straight up what the fees are. They don't surprise you with anything. I think Ticketmaster is terrible. And the whole controversy what happened during the Taylor Swift concert, I think, awful. And anything the Congress can do to make Ticketmaster pay a hefty penalty and be broken up the way that it is, fine with me. Ticketmaster is like the worst company out there. I am totally fine with them being destroyed. Yeah, Kepka's got this. Kepka's definitely got this one. Up by 2 on Sky Scheffler. 1 hole to play. Brooks Koepka is officially back. Again, 3:15 left. I'm just going to take a quick sip. Generals down by 13 with the ball. And again, in terms of what's going to generate JG9, JG7 videos coming up, what this game means if this result holds. Gamblers go to 4-2. They are tied for first place in the division alongside New Orleans and Birmingham. Generals, if they lose this game as things hold, they were in a 3-way tie for that second spot in the North. Philly has a 1-game lead. It worked out perfectly for Philly. They win. Every other team in their division loses. And it works out where they, Michigan, and Pittsburgh are tied at 2 and 4. What is the drama with Ticketmaster? It is way too complicated. Way too complicated to get into. There's a whole Wikipedia article on it, though. There's a whole Wikipedia article on it, but like the fact that when you have a controversy that's so bad for one specific concert that a whole Wikipedia article is written on it, that's when you know. What happened to JG? I'll get into that in after this play. Because it's coming back. JG is coming back. Don't worry, it's coming back. Valletta fires end zone. It is intended for Eccles Looper and is incomplete coverage there, courtesy of Day and Lake. So JG, I just put it on the back burner for a bit to work on some other side stuff. Working on JG7, JG9, the side projects, Purple Insider and whatnot, and another secret project I can't unveil just yet, but you guys are probably going to like it. It's also just been tough to find footage and articles and whatnot, but I have 2 great editors who are helping me out now. So we are going to resume JG8 content momentarily. So don't worry, it is coming. It is absolutely coming. So do not worry, we're doing that. Valletta fires short of the end zone, but it is caught. Drag route touchdown. Alonzo Moore. 16-9. They had a touchdown wiped off the board earlier on the drive. They get it right back. With 3:04 left, the Generals are right back in this thing. Pearl Jam disliked Ticketmaster before it was cool. You know, JG8 is coming back. Don't worry. I just haven't been able to post any videos in 3 weeks on it. It's just been a time issue. That's all it is. It's just been a time issue. Because it's tougher to do college football videos because copyright's a lot tougher, finding stories is a lot tougher, and finding videos is a lot tougher because a lot of games are not televised, at least back then. 16-10. The problem is also it's tough to do searches for stuff for college football because let's say I want to type in, say I want to do a video on, let's say, Michigan. Okay, if I type in Michigan, I don't get anything. I get a bunch of articles about the state of Michigan. I don't get anything about Michigan football. I do a lot of stories on players doing some stupid things. Well, I can't really do that for college because the players don't really speak to the media. If they do, they are very restricted by their coach and what they can say and what they can't say. Woodstock 99, yeah, big fiasco. Did they have to charge for water? I mean, charging for water at a festival, wasn't that part of the problem? Granite Tarasi and the Mercury followed home to the Sky by 2 scores. At least it wasn't like the Sparks game, where they lost by like 30 and laid an egg in the final 3 quarters. How many fans today? 50? That seems about right. I mean, it doesn't look packed at all. I mean, I'm not surprised. Again, this game is in Memphis. So I'm not surprised. Oh yeah, no, Ticketmaster is awful. I use SeatGeek for everything. All my tickets are on SeatGeek. And I'm not sponsored by them in any way or anything like that. I just feel comfortable using SeatGeek. Might as well call them the New Jersey Airless because they want more. That's good. That one's good. Yeah, but the next JG8 video is going to be on something Michigan related. The next video after that will be something, I think, Alabama related. We got some good videos coming up in the works. So I got 2 people helping me out with those, so I don't have to edit any JG8 vids, which is going to take a ton of pressure off my plate with that channel. I just write the scripts, record the audio, and then send it over to them, and then they make it happen. Yeah, Woodstock 99 was an insult to the original Woodstock, and Woodstock 94. Because that was the third Woodstock. Thank goodness, speaking of JG and college football, more Nebraska alumni. There you go. Looking at JG, it's too bad that because of JG9, you can't talk about the one-time CBS banger preempted a critical SEC football game for a campy infomercial and improving your credit score. Oh, that was a fun video to do. That was a fun video to put together. I think that was the right infomercial, too. I think I did like a random infomercial. I'm trying to remember because that video was a long time ago. But it was an infomercial. I know that. It was paid programming. The attendance for the Showboats game yesterday, it's funny. They don't release attendance figures. They don't release attendance figures for the XFL, or for the USFL. I don't know why I keep saying that. They don't release attendance figures. All right, 4th and 12 again. Remember, 4th and 15 is the XFL. USFL, it's 4th and 12. You can go for it. If you get the 12 yards, you get it. So they are going to try that instead of kicking it off deep and hoping for the best. Probably a good move, all things considered, because again, if you get a stop here, it's still a one-possession game because 9 points is one possession in the USFL. Because you can go for 3 from the 10-yard line. Yeah, Showboats attendance, they did not unveil it. We got to get to the 45-yard line. 4 wide. And Maletta has to burn a timeout. That could be costly if they don't pick this up. I wish they would unveil the attendance numbers, but they don't. I don't know why they don't, but they do not unveil attendance numbers for the USFL. But it was bad weather yesterday, so it didn't look like a lot of people. If I had to guess, I'd say like 8,000. Today, it's like 100. Today is not anything, which I'm not surprised by. All right, so the Generals have one timeout left, 3:04. Here we go. Valetta's got to get to the 45-yard line here. If he doesn't, the Gamblers take over. Four wide, 3 on the near side, 1 on the far side. You got a running back in the backfield. You got 5 on the line. No tight ends. On the line, at least. Valetta takes the snap. Pressure, fires, over the middle, it is incomplete! Ooh, man, nice pass breakup there. Nice pass breakup there by Nick Grant. Intended target on the play was Jamon Moore. And the Gamblers take over at the 33-yard line. I have a JG8 video idea involving Notre Dame, Nebraska, TCU, and the worst American tragedy ever. Ooh, fire away, fire away, I'd love to hear it. It's a nice throw, all things considered, with the pass, with the pressure. Great break up there by Nick Grant. So Gamblers take over with 3:04. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. And the Generals only have 1 timeout. They blew one of them on the 4th and 12 play. Handoff up the middle. It's Thompson down to the 25-yard line. Gain of 8 on the play. Again, no streams for the USFL in Week 7. Unfortunately, I will be away for all of them. Week 8, I think we got 3 streams on the docket. I think we have 3 streams on the docket for Week 8. For week 9, we've got all 4 games. Yeah, at this point, USFL is a made-for-TV event. They're not too concerned with the in-stadium attendance. Yeah. But they don't reveal the numbers, which is bizarre. Even when, I get not revealing them for games like this, but for games where like the home teams, I don't get why they don't reveal them. Needed 2 yards. Thompson barrels ahead for 3 down to the 22-yard line. First down. The Generals have a timeout. 2-minute warning. Bit surprised they're not calling a timeout right now. We got 2 minutes left in this ball game. Let's think about this one. Generals have a timeout. You got to stop here. You got to stop on second down. You got to stop on third down. Generals can get the ball with about probably like 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left. It's not great. The USFL playoff chase has more twists and turns than 80s primetime drama. Stephen King couldn't write a chapter in the books like this. Yeah, the parity in the USFL is absurd. Every single team after 6 weeks will have between 2 and 4 wins. It really is crazy. Really is crazy. Every single team in the USFL is within 1 game of the playoffs. Like, this is the most even league, way better than last year. Last year was over by this time. This year, it's anyone's game. If this result holds, Philly takes first place in the North. New Jersey, Michigan, and Pittsburgh tied for second. Top 2 teams make it. In the South, if this result holds, Memphis at 3-3 would be in last place in their division. Be good enough for first place in the North, but it'd be last place in the South. Houston, Birmingham, New Orleans would be 4-2. They would each be 4-2. Top 2 teams in that division make it. So we could have a situation like we had with St. Louis in the XFL where they were 7-3 and missed the playoffs. We could have a situation like that. I said on a previous stream, it's like the inverse XFL. In the XFL, the North was great, the South was terrible. This year, in the USFL, the South is great, the North is terrible. Why is Live allowed to play? So PGA Championship is not sponsored by PGA. It's two separate things. There's PGA and PGA of America, and they split off. They're 2 separate things. So the PGA Championship is not run by the PGA. Oh, that's a cool story. That's a cool story. I've done some videos on September 11th and college football. That's a cool one. I did one on what was it, Montana State, and a game they had against Oregon State. I think that I did a video on that one. And was our scheduling conflict because of that? Yeah, so Live is allowed to play in PGA Championship because it's not run by PGA. None of the majors are. None of the majors are run by the PGA. Which is weird. You would think PGA Championship is run by PGA, but no, it's a separate company. First and 10 at the 22-yard line. Jersey has a timeout, but one more first down will officially put this game on ice. Jersey had a bad first half offensively, and it's been nothing but long drives in the second half, as the Generals have only touched the ball twice in the half. First down, Thompson. Balled up, but escapes out of it. Nice play. Thought they were going to mark forward progress down for a loss of 3. Instead, he gets back to the line of scrimmage and gets a yard. Jersey not burning a timeout. So they're going to take this one all the way down to 1:15 before calling this play. Second and 9 to 21. Take it down to like 1:17. 3 seconds on the play clock. 2, 1, handoff. Thompson cannot go out of bounds. Thompson cannot go out of bounds. He stays in bounds. Smart play to slide in bounds at the 15-yard line. You always get worried when you run to the side like that. Jersey not calling any of their timeouts. I'm a bit surprised. Usually you call the timeout first because if you get a fumble and whatnot, you have more time to work with. So this is weird clock management on the part of Jersey. I can take this down Probably to 1 second, then they'll call timeout. And take it down to 32 seconds. Take it down to 32. Call a timeout. Afterwards, if you don't get it, like 28-27. See what happens here. Thompson. The extra stretch. Did he get it? I think we're going to have a measurement. Did he get the first down? The extra stretch might have been enough. Which team is Dynasty? Which one's Miami Vice? Which one's not slanting? And it was enough. The extra stretch is enough. And that is the ball game. Which one's Magruder and Loud? I think the Maulers last year were Terry Kirby, were Magruder and Loud. I think it's a terrible one. Take a knee, and that is it. The Gamblers improved to 4-2, tied for first in the North, or the South rather. The Generals got a 2-4, tied for second in the South. 16-10 your final. Low-scoring affair. Only 2 times in the second half did New Jersey touch the ball, and that made the difference. Couldn't get the Gamblers could not, or the Generals defense rather could not get off the field. All right, 16-10. Again, no streams next week, week 7, but here's what we got on the agenda. Sunday night, or tomorrow, JG9, JG7 video. Both of those are coming out tomorrow, 9 a.m., 12 p.m. JG8 videos are in the works. I will post once they are live. And go to the Purple Insider YouTube channel. Did a video about how Bud Grant saved the Vikings with one speech before a game in 1985 against the 49ers. Go check that out if you haven't already. Also, Wednesday, we have live NFL trivia on Twitch at 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to Patreon if you want early access to NFL history videos and the ability to request future video topics for me to cover. And go to jg9shop.com for all your official Jaguar Gator 9 merchandise. Again, jg9shop.com for that. I have a link right now for that. But thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a blast. Final score 16-10. Thank you for joining me on this quadruple header weekend in the USFL. I'm Jaguar Gator 9. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Until next time.